Marine Peninsula, welcome to the GDFL Match of the Day, broadcast on the Pulse. Now, here to bring all the action to your radio, our team on 94.7 The Pulse.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the, what do you call it last week, Dale? The Railway Oval at Bannockburn.
He's into him already. The train goes past every week.
It does indeed, and a very timely cough. This is a game that we're all very much looking forward to, Bannockburn versus Inverleigh. That is a fierce rivalry. Saw a great game on Anzac Day. This is the rematch. Certainly these two sides will be prominent in the finals. And I'm sure as excited as I am. Richard Cations, good afternoon to you.
G'day viewers, g'day listeners, and hello to Edna. Where was that, Robert? Been on Polar Bay somewhere.
Yes.
Oh, Edna's down to Polar Bay.
Polar Bay. Hello, Edna.
Down there.
And former Geelong
reserves player.
No, he's an 8-time first 11, first 18, two-time premiership player, teammate of many greats of the Geelong Football Club. Dale Smith, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Rob. Yes, and as you said, we are looking forward to this afternoon. Let's hope it doesn't get much cooler than it is at the moment, because we don't need that, and the game will probably have enough heat in it anyway, I would think.
Very much indeed. Now, Grubby normally gets us one or two high-quality guests, but we've had a change of tack this afternoon. The boys thought, we haven't had a mid-season review yet. We're a bit past it, so what we're going to do today is go through all 12 clubs, where they sit, how they might look, and in some cases what next year might look like, because this year certainly won't involve finals. And I think to do that best, we might start at the very bottom, Grubby, and work our way up rather than the other way round. I hope that doesn't upset your research, but the Anarchy Footy Club, we knew it was going to be tough for them. We knew they probably wouldn't win a game. They've had a chance to win one, and that chance is gone last round against Karaya. But how have you seen their season?
Look, I thought they started off a lot more competitively than last year, and I thought, gee, they're going to win a game here this year. They almost beat North Geelong, only I think 10 points at home, and when they did that, I thought, right, they're on the right track. But they went out to Werribee the following week, and Werribee were depleted, and I actually said Anarchy will win this game, and they lost by 4 goals, and they weren't really in it, and they've just struggled ever since. I don't know if they've had players coming in and out with injuries. I know Dale Collins has been out for a lot of the year, and he's a handy player for them. But I think they run their race last week. They got within 15 points of Corio, and they just had to win that, and they didn't. So I think they'll go another year without winning them, although I pray to God that something happens and they do win one, because you love to see a side like that win a game. I know Daniel Bumworth, he trains them pretty hard out there, and they're pretty fit, and they have a fair dinkum red-hot go every time they take the field, but they just lack that bit of class to be able to win a game. I've had a look at some of their best players for the year. Miraclis again, probably not quite as prominent as he was last year, but he's still a very good player. Baumgartner has been a very good player for them. I know he got a couple of weeks suspension there at one stage, but he's been good. Darren Morris, since he's been gone into the ruck, has been sensational. At centre half back, he sort of just amongst it there, but in the ruck, he's done a great job. Young Luke Roberts, he's been a pretty good player for them. Bunworth himself, the days we saw him, played pretty well. And young Billy Goodwin's, he's doing a little bit of good too there. So, look, they're a great club. They've got a great day on today. If you're out and about and you want to go and have a great past players' day at Anarchy, that's where to go, because some of the legends, your Bissets and your Camerottos and your Welsh and what's that little mongrel? Oh, Neville Gogol. He's a lovely man, Neville Gogol. They'll be out there today. They'll have a great day out there, and I think that's going to knock down the club rooms, ready for the new phase of their existence. So let's hope that goes well for them. I don't think they can win the game, but they'll have a great day out there. And as I say, just stay competitive. And I don't know what they do for next year. I just think they need to recruit. I think they've recruited a fair bit from the lower divisions in the WRFL. And let's face it, the lower divisions in the WRFL aren't as good as us. Their first division is better, but then they drop a fair way in second and third division. So maybe they've got to have a look at getting some WRFL A-grade senior players. They need a couple of them. I don't know, they've got plenty of points to do that. And I know a lot of people think, oh, gee, I don't want to go out to Anarchy. It's cold out there. Well, hey, it's cold up at Bellpost Hill, Windy Hill. It's cold at the Winter Resort. It's cold everywhere. So, but that's what they need to do. They need to get a bit of class into their side as well as the battlers.
So are they, Dan Bunworth, is he committed to next year, Grub? We know.
Apparently, said to me early in the year he was.
Yep.
If
So
they
that's a
wanted
good
him,
sign.
I'm here, but I don't know whether there's rumblings.
Oh, I wouldn't think there'd be rumblings. As I said, he can't do much more than what he's doing, but well, obviously, well, as I said, you'll just have to wait and see. But obviously, he said you've mentioned a few players, but some of the ones like Mason Rhodes has been out there for a while, and he was a good player, but probably hasn't done the stuff that he's done normally. Jordan Kavanagh,
another one, yeah.
Again, you know, I think didn't he have a bit of injury trouble either last year or this year or something?
Yeah.
Or something? So
again,
just
the
continuity of their football, that's where they need to get. And as I said, they've built a background out there at the moment. But as I said, you're right, Grub, they need to do some recruiting. But again, how far can you take it?
Interesting question for you both. You know the on-the-ground rumblings, but there's a lot of ex-Anarchy players playing in other clubs around Geelong, and we know that it's a great club and a great place to be. Everyone that talks about what a wonderful place it is. Why are they having trouble getting these blokes to come home, do you think?
Look, it's only second-hand information, but I think at one point, I think Morey wanted to stay at Anarchy, and they said they might have someone else to take his place. So Morey left and came out here for Inverleigh, and that's when a lot of players left. Wilson left, Gerard left, Phyllis left, and they all left because they just, maybe they thought Morey wasn't treated well enough. I don't know. But that's some of it. They've always struggled to get players out there. You know, like back in the 90s they got them out there. Well, they had a wonderful side out there, the bugs I've mentioned before. Yeah. You know, David Cook was a superstar. They had some great players out there. And unfortunately, they just can't drag them in. Like, when they lose some, they can't replace them. They've replaced them with players who simply just weren't as good as the players that left.
That's right. Yeah. So they've got a bit of an issue, and they're probably going to have to continue to recruit out of the western suburbs. The other club directly above them, they won last week by 15 points. They seem to have a good structure. Certainly the Joel and Toby Bennett, as well as co-coach Darren, have really made a difference to the structure of the organisation around the club. They're definitely a little bit better, but they're probably in a better position to Anarchy being able to recruit good players from out of Geelong. Do you see them as having a bright short-term future?
I don't know how short, because I don't know, but a lot of players wouldn't go to Corio over the years because of their culture. And what you've just said is true, that the Bennetts and like Anarchy, I reckon they're the two greatest presidents I've ever met. Heath Menhennet out at Anarchy, and Greggy Ince is just a fantastic, fantastic man. And they've changed the culture, right? Someone plays up, you're out. So it's going to be a safe place and a good place to be at Corio. So, yes, I think that they can drag a few more players in. At the moment, they're obviously so reliant on Joel Bennett, who I think is probably the best player in the comp. Mm-hmm. His younger brother, Toby, has had a fantastic year too. He's come to the fore. And then they drop away a little bit. They need a few more top six players, right? Because they're top six. You know, a lot of these clubs, they've got great top six and top sevens. Their bottom sixes maybe aren't too good. But they need a few more players to get into that top six at Corio.
Jordan Sharp, was that his name? The fellow played at half-back when we saw him. The two Bennetts and Jordan Sharp were named the best three players 4 weeks in a row. Yeah. Now, while that's good in one sense, it's not good in another.
That's right. They just need a bloke like Destin Burns. He's come there. He struggled to fit in early, but he looks a really, really good player. Cornwall gives his all every week. He's one of those blokes. But you'd rather him be your 10th best player, right? Yeah. And slot a couple of players in front of him. Doyle was okay. Braden Cotter probably hasn't quite played as well as he did the year before.
Definitely.
I don't think he's as fit as he
might not be. He looked a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So he's probably got to get off his bum a bit if he wants to stay there and be one of their better players.
So they recruited Nathan Kenyon. He was an ex-Anarchy bloke. Dale Peters, an ex-Anarchy kid. So there's two. Dale Peters, I rated pretty highly when he was out at Anarchy. But again, he's another kid that can play a good brand of footy. And he's one of those kids that needs to step up.
Yeah. Or either step up or get another few players that are in their top six. They get three more. I mean, you're not going to get another three like Joel Bennett. But you get a couple more players above these blokes. And I see no reason for them to go there. Off field, they're going really, really well. And I went there one night for a turnout, and you don't look sideways anymore out there. It's a good place to be, and they're good people.
And they need to replace Mark Stewart as well.
Well, they do. I think at the moment, what's the other young bloke's name? The other ruckman?
Jack Woods.
Is it Jack Wood, is it? Yeah.
Now, 30. Yeah.
Green. Jack Green.
Jack Green.
Jack Green, that's who it is. Now, while he's learning the game, you can use Mark Stewart.
Yep.
But sooner or later, at 50 years old, he's got to give it away. And hopefully, he'd stay at the club in some sort of mentor role because they adore him down there because he's such a lovely bloke as well. But hopefully, young Jack, and the day we saw him, he played pretty well, so he's improving a lot as well.
He was raw, but you definitely like to be working with a kid that can jump like that. And
yes.
Tenacity.
Yeah, my word. A lot of people will snicker that a 50-year-old's playing football with Corio, but using him properly, a little bit like Thompson used Wiseman for a couple of years, you can use his knowledge and use his know-how about ruck work on the field, because sooner or later he's got to give it away, Big Mark, yeah.
Oh, yeah. As I said, if he could, the other kid can just fill out that a little bit better too, would make him obviously a lot more dangerous than what he was. But again, he showed some signs, so they have got that backing there. But again, there was the other kid from the year before that played at centre-half forward from as well. I can't think who he was either. I think he might coach their cricket side. I don't know whether
Shelley?
he's... No, not... Well, Dylan Shelley's...
I don't know
and
where
Grace.
he is.
Grace was the other one, yeah, young kid Grace. I think he did a bit of ruck work for him the year before, so he was another tall kid that you'd want to obviously likes to be cricket, and that might be where he's loves it for out there at Cryer. But if he could get himself really fit and stamp himself into that senior side, it gives him another option, another tall option that they can use as a key forward or a hit out in the ruck that can just give this young Jack Green a bit of a spell, and he can still play Stewie in the goal square because you know he's going to take a contest and someone's got to be big enough to knock it to the ground. So smarts around him, you never know.
The blonde-headed bloke, I don't think he's playing. Is it Dylan?
What? Yes.
Spoke to him earlier in the year. He was real keen, but then I think he played up, and now I don't think he's playing.
Yeah, now
he's got a bit
go
of
back
talent.
through me things here. That
I remember you talking about him. Yes.
Yeah, he got quite a bit of talent, but I don't know whether he's playing now.
What is it? White? No.
He must have had a run in somewhere. I'm not sure because he was really keen. But you know, they've just, as I say, they've just got to get players. Like, put it this way. There's another bloke out there that's played for a long time. Chris Laurie.
Dylan Smith,
yeah. Chris Laurie.
yes.
Now, what Corio need to get is a side that Chris Laurie can't get a game in.
Yeah.
And that's when you know that they've improved, when Chris Laurie can't get a game, because he's getting on in the tooth
When he
as well.
starts coaching the seconds.
Yeah,
right.
and he's fantastic. But you'd want a side that, oh, sorry, mate, you're not in this week. Our side's too good. And that's where they've got to get to.
Side we've seen a bit of this year, club steeped in tradition, North Geelong, seem to be treading water at this stage. New coach this year, Andrew Buse, back at the club doing a lot of work. They've got youth. Have they got a goodish short-term future?
They're so hard to tell. I don't know. Apparently against Werribee they were fantastic. Won by 9 goals or 8 goals at Werribee, and everybody played well. They were good, but the times we've seen them, they haven't been that good.
No.
Now, they're in the same boat as Anarchy. Right? The players that they lost, they haven't covered them. Right? The players like Tommy Swenderson, young Widdowson,
Gerard also.
Gerard went.
Darcy Eels,
And those first 3 went to better themselves in GFL.
Wilson,
out here.
well, Jamie Phillips is not even
And
playing
Jamie
this
Phillips
year.
is not playing. So that's a lot of talent to lose.
Yeah.
They've picked up Buse's young bloke Jackson, but I don't think he's played many games. I think he's been injured a lot of the time.
Yeah, it was at the start of the year, Grub. I think he's got a bit more continuity into his game
so
now.
that'll help.
Young Toby Ryan's not playing. You know, there's the Darcy Eels, all those kids. The young kid that won the league best or the uprising star a couple of years ago came from North Shore. Young kid played on a half back or on a wing for him. Gee, the shocking. You're trying to think of these kids' names.
Well, if you can't think of their names, don't bring it up.
No, but I'm just saying. I know I probably shouldn't do that. But I'm just saying. Here's one. You know, these 2 or 3 of their quality kids from that side. As I said, I'd probably go back through my books here and I'll be able to find out who it is, but I might do that.
Here's a case of 3 clubs that we've spoken about now fall into that category of the conversation you guys had about the points, because they really would be a great place for a good GFL seconds player or a GFL kid coming out of the under-18s to go. But if they're going to be worth 3 points, every one they pick up. It's going to limit their ability to take a lot in. But that to me would be a great place for a kid from Lara to go and play senior footy and play good senior footy, ready to go to either Anarchy or North Geelong.
Well, they've already had a couple. I think North Geelong have got young Kaya Henderson.
Yeah, well, there's 3 kids come from Lara, and they're really happy with all of them. They're only 18.
Jackson Jewell.
Yeah.
And there's one more. Will Marnie.
Yeah, but if kids like that who are only just at this stage moderately good senior players, if they're going to ping them 3 points every time, there's a limit to how many of them you can get.
It makes it a bit hard, but
that's where that needs to be looked at. We've spoken about this before.
Yeah, well, they've got to look at that this year, surely. The point system's been in long enough to fix it. Now, those clubs have got a chance to compete in the next 3 years if they drop those to 1 and 2 pointers and let them have a crack at it.
Well, that's right. And I think when but Mark Hounslow comes into the job, he thinks this is what he's got. And all of a sudden he hasn't got what he thought he had. Then they had COVID, then they had injuries, then they had a blokes going to a wedding in Adelaide. He must be shaking his head thinking, what have I got myself in for? But look, young Beecroft has been pretty good. Brockenshire's been pretty good for most of the year.
Yeah.
The other bloke that's come back is good when he's come back. Taylor Gasper has kicked a couple of goals. Big Tommy Davis is trying pretty hard in the ruck.
He's done very well every time we've seen him.
Yeah, it's hard to be a ruckman in this comp because the top sides have got some pretty good ruckmen, but I'll talk about that later. But he's done pretty well. Young Bruns has been okay. Young Will Marnie has been okay. But I tell you what, I looked through the side yesterday, or last night on the computer. Now, I don't know if that's going to be their run-on side. But if it is, for the first time in many, many, many a long day, no Swennisons.
Oh, really?
Not named in the side.
Not Zach either.
Not Zach, not Brent, not Luke. And we know Tommy's gone. And then they're one of the greatest families ever in the GDFL. Like, their old man was one of the greatest players I ever seen. He was a fantastic player, Scap. But, yeah, I just looked through the side and no Swennisons. I bet there's a long time since that happened.
Is Charlie Farrell playing? Because there was talk that he was going overseas or
something. I don't think he's playing. I looked in there. I don't think he was named. But he was the other bloke that I had down as their best player. And he's their best player.
Yeah, I've got a feeling someone said that when we were out there last time, he was heading overseas or going away at some stage. So
let's go down the highway. Grubby's old club, still club, not quite sure. They have got recruiting issues as well, as Heath Buck pointed out, is getting people to be happy to take that pleasant drive to Geelong, play Geelong and district footy, but they're probably at the stage, Grubby, where they do need to bring a few more in.
Well, they're at the stage where they maybe can't, because if they get all their players back that were injured this year, they have to get a few extra points for finishing third or fourth last. They have to get another couple of points because they're on 40. They're on the lowest you can get. Like, they're on 40 points. And these blokes coming back, they're playing 29 out of 40 at the moment because they're throwing in kids from the 18s, the 16s, blokes that have been like Koutsamanis, and those blokes have been there for years. They're all one-pointers. But when these other blokes come back who are still 2 and 3 pointers, there's not a lot of room. They probably had a couple of goes at a couple of blokes from Werribee districts this year, but realised that their best side would then play 42 out of 40, which doesn't go in, so they didn't get them. So I just don't know whether they can recruit if these blokes come back. But if these blokes come back and they get a full side in, I believe they're fighting for 5th spot.
Yeah,
they're good enough to do that.
Yeah. Have they been happy with the kids that they've been forced to play? Have they found senior players they perhaps wouldn't have?
Well, they wanted to keep the 3 under-18s in there, but our under-18s are now in Division 2 in AFL Barwon, which is pretty good competition. And I think they're equal top or second or something like that. So to give the kids the winning ways that they need, they've given them back. So the under-18 kids have gone back and they replaced them with under-16 kids, three on the one day. And they all kicked the goal each. So, and they're really, really, really happy with those blokes. But they'll go back to the under-16. So it looks to me like they've got a little bit of class coming through. Like, they've been pretty good. Like Brad Carlton came through. He's only played 4 or 5 years of senior footy. He's already won 2 club best and fairest. So, I don't know if you'll get as one as good as him.
Is he back playing yet?
No. Well, they reckon he'll come back around 17 or 18, but would you bother?
Yeah, no, he wouldn't.
I don't just give it a full rest. The other bloke, too, Testament, he ain't playing either.
Yep.
And he didn't get his operation.
He had a knee, didn't he?
Yeah, but he couldn't get his operation until this year because of COVID.
All right.
So that pretty much ruled him out. So they've got still quite a few blokes that, the other bloke out for the year too, Taylor, the vice-captain, Blake Taylor. So they've still got quite a few out. But I think they're better players for the year. Linehan Cunningham's done a pretty good job, but you never know if he follows his brother to Lara or not. His brother's doing a pretty good job at Lara, Connor. So you never know. He might go there. Since he's been back, Chad Buck's been pretty good. Matty Miller's, he's about 40 years old, Miller nearly, and he's a terrific player still. Prismal's done okay as well. Once you get this kid fit, he'll be as good a player in the comp. Jesse Patterson, he can play. But his hamstring injuries ruined him for the year, and now he's got rid of him. The last couple of games, I think he's kicked 4 and 4. He's been sensational. So he can play. He's played Werribee VFA footy, Jets, Darley in the Ballarat League, and if they can keep him fit, he's as good as anyone running around. He's a good player. The big fella Daly's been winning in the ruck. He missed a few with a broken hand. But their best player for the year is Tyler Crennan. He was sensational last year, very stiff, not the winner. And I tell you what, he win their best. And if he don't win their best and fairest, I'm not here. And maybe an outsider for the Whitley medal if noticed. Although it's hard to get votes.
Yeah, not winning the game.
So, unlike the 3 clubs below them, Werribee have a better short-term future because they actually have the players around the club already.
I think they've got them there to be around 5th or 6th.
Yep.
And at the moment, then to take the other step, then yes, they need a couple of extra players to take the step to be up with Inverleigh, East and the top sides.
Belmont Lions, they had a chance. We saw them at North Geelong and they were pretty good. We saw some kids that were good. They hosted Werribee at home ground, and we thought, well, geez, that's a certain win for them. They got belted by 6 goals. That's sort of their year, isn't it? Up and down. They're just sort of treading water, aren't they?
This was their down because they were bloody poor. I watched the video. No commentary, which is better sometimes. But no commentary. I'll tell you, the amount of times they grabbed the footy in the back line, ran straight out and kicked it down a Werribee bloke's throat. The poor old Bisso would have been shaking his head because he wasn't doing it. He was hitting targets and they just kicked it to Werribee all the time. Werribee did play reasonably well, but, gee, Belmont was just terrible. And they've done that a bit through the year. You get to a stage where you think, I think we're okay now. And then they drop away. So, but like Bissett himself's had a good year. He's been a very good player for most of the year. A kid named McElhinney has been pretty well. You got blokes on the back like Jubba and that have been there for a while. They give you the best every week, just like the 3 Evanses. They'll just go in and give you the best they got every week and not stop trying till the final siren rings. They've got a bit of class in Jarks in the forward line, but they obviously rely on him. They need another one of him up there so they can sort of have another avenue to go in. Young Brock Marnie, I don't know if he's playing at the moment. He's a good kid. He's only a young fella, same as Christian Barsic. They've got a bit of talent, those blokes.
Yeah.
So as for next year, they're going to keep all of them. That's been Belmont's trouble for a long, long time. They get to a stage where they've got some really good players and they leave. I don't know why they leave, but they're left for all different reasons. But they leave, and they've got to keep those blokes. I don't know who's going to coach them next year because they've already advertised. Now, I spoke to Nathan Bissett, and he said, look, it's in the Constitution. They have to advertise each year. It just worries me they're doing it so early.
It's a very strange time to be advertising. Recruiting, I can understand, but not advertising at this time.
I know Werribee Centrals is in there as well, right? And even if you've got your coach, they have to advertise. But what they do in about November, they put a tiny little bit in the local paper, which no one reads, and says, we're looking for a coach. If anyone applies, they say, no, we got our coach. Yeah. But they've done it a bit different, Belmont. They've put it out there real early while Nathan's still coaching, which I don't like. But I'm not sure whether he will be there. I hope he is because I think he's bringing them along really, really well.
Belmont Lions player retention is a problem. It's definitely a problem at Winch. They've got 20 new faces this year, and their major recruiting areas are Deakin University and Marcus Oldham College, and all of that lot are only 3-year terms, and they all go back home. So what can they do? Because this year at the moment they look like they're on that trajectory, but they could lose 15.
Well, that's what you can't afford to do, and maybe you may have to steer clear of some of those. I remember one year Winch were on top. About 9 games in, Winch were on top. But then the Marcus Oldham boys went on holidays and went home. They lost the next 5 or 6, and they didn't make the finals.
Correct.
And that's a real worry if you haven't got that consistency for the year. So, they don't make the finals very often. I think Mensch took them to the finals. It was Mensch'll see they were calling it then.
2 years with him.
Yeah.
Well, Byron Matheson plays his 250th game of the club today, so he's been there 12 or 13 years, and they were the only 2 years they've seen finals.
Yeah. So that's a bit of a worry because they have to keep these blokes. I looked at their list, done a bit of research on their list, and thought they can make finals nearly. Well, they're not going to now, but they've given it a fair shake. They've got a good coach. Shaw has been around for a long time, and he was a great player, and he knows what's required out there. So he has to hold on. Maybe they got a couple of players from Grovedale at some stage. Maybe get them from there and try and keep them. Their biggest problem wasn't the Marcus Oldham boys leaving. It was who were the backmen that left?
Gubbins.
Gubbins was one of them.
He actually injured himself, didn't he?
Yeah, and then retired.
The
maybe
bloke that went back to St Albans.
Was it a Sterling or something?
Yeah,
Boy, geez, he was a good player.
Yep.
You know, so they've lost some good players that weren't for Marcus Oldham too. So yeah, you're right. But they've got some good players out there. Like the bloke Tucker's been around for a while too. You know, he can play a bit. I don't know how he's going this year, but he actually put on a bit of weight too. Was young Ellis.
He's back and he has injury issues, but he's back and getting fitter and going all right. And they've also recruited 2 local midfielders. Tom Stevenson come through their juniors, played at Birregurra.
Okay.
He's come back, and Braden O'Hanlon, who's a Mottawari product. So they live close. They'll stay.
Yeah.
But it's these itinerants that wander in and out that cause them some
Well,
problems.
there's 2 blokes they've got to keep. Caleb Brown.
Yeah. Well, he's a local. He should be right.
And Jackson Smith's a terrific player.
Yeah.
He is a very, very good player. And they got more too. I think they've got the players there. Hold them, and they could be a worry for some sides next year.
The once great Panthers hovering around the middle. We saw them in the first game of the year and thought, oh, good, this is going to be an ugly year for them. But they have surprises. They won 2 games that we saw. We wouldn't expect them to beat East Geelong and Geelong West. But they've lost 4. They're sitting outside the 5 at the moment with not a great run home. They're in danger of missing the finals. Have they got to do a rebuild?
Wow. They're going to have to, yeah. You know, Page is just about gone. I don't know how many years Cozzy's got. Bowie McNamara's not a spring chicken. They might keep going for a couple of years, but I think they've got to start looking at it. Like, their biggest blow was at the eve of the season when Brock Carter and Bowie Collins decided to go up to Darwin. I think they went. Cairns.
Yeah, up north, yeah.
And they're representing North Queensland or something. They made the interleague side up there. So they were 2 great players. Collins, well, he finished 5 or 6 votes ahead of the Whitley medal, but suspension cost him it. And Brock Carter really, really started to play well in the ruck. And if you have a look at their ruckman at the moment, well, as I've said a few times, they're not much taller than me. Right. So they need a ruckman. So you put those 2 in the side, and the other bloke that went back to athletics, Gray.
Yep.
I think they do make the finals. So they've really struggled. The times we've seen them, they've been pretty good. But apparently a couple of times that we haven't seen them, they've been poor. Although, Ronnie Pilgrim said they had here, a couple of weeks ago?
Yep.
And he said up to half time they had a crack and they were good. So there's still a chance to make the finals. Round 14 will maybe show that up when they play Thompson. Because if they finish on the same points, I think their percentage is better than Thompson's. So, and they've both got probably 3 losses in front of them. 1 early and 1 late.
Yeah.
So if they can get over the top of Thompson, then they still hold a chance to make the 5. I think they're going to finish 6th. And I'm not quite sure if they've got a lot of kids coming through. Young Vasurka, he's still only a young fella. He's a good player. Where are we?
I know they're working hard in their junior program, but again, that's
it's going to take a while.
Yeah, and as I said, I know I've had arguments with Tari about this before, and I said they can keep dragging players into the club because at that stage they were a successful club.
Yeah.
People now we're going to start looking, if they want to come out, they're going to start looking at Inverleigh or maybe Bannockburn as a developing side. Geelong West are obviously starting to recruit pretty heavily now, and Thompson obviously with Paul Lynch there would obviously be a draw card for them. So where they may have been that first option to go to originally, that may have changed a little bit, but again, it's just people, if you know somebody, that they can get them into the club, and they've been able to do that on a regular occurrence to keep themselves competitive, and they're going to do it again this year. You're right, where do they finish? Timmy Barton back now.
Yeah.
If he can get through and keep improving, that obviously stiffens them up a little bit more, but again, when you come to ruck the division, I know you've got kids, blokes that can compete, but you can't beat a McLennan from last week who really dominated. So that's where I'm thinking that they might come unstuck again, even though they do play well at St Albans.
And what worries me about that is I'd love Timmy Barton back either in the forward line or the back line.
Yep.
But I think he's going to play a fair bit in the ruck.
Which I think's wrong, because if he's got crooked knees, that's not going to help him, is it?
No, I know. And he's still probably not quite big enough for the big fellas. I think he's worth more in the back line or the forward line. But look, Ford's kicked, 58 for the year and had a couple of weeks off with suspension, so he's been fantastic. Costello's kicked a few. Sable's a class player. He's a really good player. Cubby Baseley's been around a long time and still playing great football. As I mentioned for Circa, he's a good kid. The kid that impressed me was Andrews. I think he was from St Mary's, was he? He's a very good player. They've still got one of the best players in the comp, one of the reigning Whitley medalists in Dylan Whitney, who won't win it this year, I can promise you that. And, well, he's been suspended.
I know that.
And the bloke that I like, I reckon he's the best captain in the comp. Yates plays football like a captain should. He plays it hard. He gets in and helps the young blokes without doing anything silly. And he's one of the best captains I've seen here. But I think they finish sixth. But if they can beat Belpost Hill in a couple of weeks, then their season's back on track and they can make the five.
Just interesting, a couple of weeks from now, Belpost Hill play Thompson. That could very well be, at Belpost Hill, that could very well be
round 14.
Yeah, the decider. So let's go to Thompson now. Interestingly, they've got that game to get over. And they're behind on percentage, as Grubby said. Thompson's last three games, East Geelong, Bannockburn at Bannockburn, and Inverleigh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not
so
easy.
If they're going to play finals, they'll go in some sort of form, won't they?
Well, they will, but you've got to remember, right, Belpost Hill before that, right, from round 14, they play Belpost Hill away, and Winch, East at home, and Bannockburn away. So they've got the three hardest games as well.
Yeah.
So basically, they've got to beat each other, one of them, and maybe even take a scalp above them. And if they can do that, then they can go into the finals not just making up the numbers.
Yeah.
Right?
Thompson sort of their surprise win last week, a game they weren't expected to beat West, but Belpost Hill have already beaten West and East in games they weren't. So maybe the experience and the list at Belpost Hill are more likely to cause an upset to Thompson, or are you falling into the Johnny Mitchell theory that Thompson's best we still haven't seen?
Well, maybe, although Johnny Mitchell said this morning that Thompson were no good. Right?
Off air.
He's going to love that. Sorry, Johnny. I know Spider Brady's listening too. He'll be having a laugh over that as well. But I don't know enough about Thompson because I think we saw him first game of the year and I don't think we've seen him since.
No, we haven't.
So it's very, very hard to pick their best player. I know Charlie Donahue gets in the best a fair bit. He's a pretty good kid. Maguire's as good a fullbacks going around. The other bloke that got injured who's coming back to form is Brent McLeod, and he's still one of the best players I've ever seen in this competition. And his brother Jackson's back too, kicking a couple of goals, which is great to see. One of the Sheedy boys, I think it might be Mitch. I can't remember which one's the better one.
Mitch.
He's a pretty good player. Davis is a good player. Freeman can win a game for you off his own boot. So they've got a fair few there, you know. The big fella played all right round one. Cam, I don't know where he's going or how he's going, but he looked all right to me. So, yeah, they've got a lot of blokes that I don't really know about. And until we see them again, it's hard to put them in a category. But I just reckon on looking at the results, I just think they can finish fifth. I'd love to see them beat a Bannockburn or an East, so they go in there and then you say, all right, well, they've beaten one of those sides. Maybe they can do it again in the finals, and they're not just making up the numbers as a fifth side usually does.
They've got a good base to recruit into, and they've always been able to recruit well, Thompson. They're sort of well connected around the trap, so they probably don't need too much to be on their current list to be back amongst it.
Yeah, they've been a funny side. They've recruited really well at times, and then all of a sudden they don't recruit well, and then they drop down again. But look, people will want to go and play at Thompson at the moment because they've got one of the greatest coaches in the area. Right? He knows his football. He's not scared to give a spray when he needs to, as Lynch. And I think that'll attract players to play under a really, really good coach. And as you say, they're in the middle of Geelong there. People walk in and say, hey, I want to play here. I think their future looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty good.
Let's go to Geelong West. There or thereabouts, we know that coming home they play the 6 bottom teams, if you like, on the ladder currently, and Bannockburn, I think, is their run home. So they'll definitely play finals, and they probably really should have it finish with a double chance, Grubby. Are they good enough still in your mind? They've had a couple of upset losses that make you wonder about them.
Well, unfortunately, the upset losses are the ones we've seen. Yeah. And I really like to go on what I've seen. And what I've seen is they're not good enough. But what I haven't seen, and when they've knocked off Eastern, that they obviously are good enough. But I have to go on what I've seen. They got Bannockburn away, and they got Bellpost Hill away too. So they might come down to have to beat Bellpost Hill to get third spot. They can get third spot. Don't worry about that. I think Inverleigh and East will take the top two, and Bannockburn and West will fight. And Bannockburn's got a pretty good draw too. So it might be neck and neck. I've got Bannockburn finishing anywhere from 48 to 56 points, and I've got West finishing between 52 and 56. So that's going to be close, and I think Bannockburn's percentage is better. Well, I can tell you it's better, 196 to 154. That's a lot of percentage to make up.
Yep.
So if they're close, they might finish fourth, West. But look, they've had a really good year. They've had a good draw, but I'll say it again, like I've said about 10 times. They're lucky to get a good draw when they've had their best side for a long, long time. And that's just, and good luck to them. And now they've got to try and finish it off. They've got a bloke that's kicked 46 goals up forward who's a dynamo. He's a very, very, very good player. Where's me West? They got the other, Curtis Hawes had a pretty good year. Marty Ianelli may not be as good as Frankie and all them yet, but he never know. He might get there. Big Carey played well when we seen him. Michael Lima's a class player, and they need to get some real form out of him coming into the finals because he's a ripper. And I said young Wallace plays pretty well too. So, and there's a few more that I haven't sort of mentioned yet, but I don't know. They'll make the finals. I'm just not sure how strong they'll be in those finals. I hope they're good because they deserve it, but we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Their big thing's got to be Bohm. They've got to get the ruckman back into their side. If they can't get him back
he's
in,
still
they're
not back.
Yeah, I look, he's really important. You've got to have a number one ruckman in your side to compete come finals time. And as I said, it's proven time and time again when we get out to St Albans, you need to have that quality bloke in the middle that can make a contest and at least nullify some of these other blokes that are going to have the ruckman there. So until he comes back in, I reckon they'll make top three. There's no doubt about that.
I reckon. Did you stay in Bannockburn last night? Who? You didn't come to Werribee last night, did you?
No, why?
I reckon you've just copied exactly what I was going to say. I've got it written down. Did you see it?
No.
Because what I was going to say was...
Sorry, I cut you off.
You've got these blokes, I said, like Lima, that could be one of the best players in the comp. You've got Dye kicking 48 goals. You've got all these blokes who are great players. But the one they need the most is Jai Bohm. Because I don't think you can beat Inverleigh with Wilson, Bannockburn with Fulton, East especially with McLennan, without a ruckman. You need a ruckman. And he's a good player too, I think, Bohm, but I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know when he's coming back. I must bring Wilkes on that because they need him more than they need all the other blokes.
We might know where we're going the last round. Bellpost Hill are playing Geelong West at Bellpost Hill. Bellpost Hill could be playing for their final spot. Geelong West will be playing for a double chance.
They could be.
Yeah, that would be a good game. So we'll jump we'll go to second place in ladder. Geelong East, we've seen them and they've been reasonably impressive except for the day at Bellpost Hill where they weren't, but geez, they looking to me like the side most likely to upset Inverleigh, I reckon.
Yeah, well, look, I think so. And before I started, rather than call them Geelong East, I'd prefer to call them East Geelong.
Okay.
Because that's what their name is. Look, they've got an abundance of riches. We watched them out here last week, and they really, really impressed me. Because some of these blokes that can play football, there's some that can't. Some that can't play four quarters of football. But they all do their little bit along the way.
Yeah.
You know?
Very well coached. Very well drilled.
I like this bloke. I think Mosley, he's the man they needed. He's the man they've got, and that's terrific. The kids. Let's start with the kids. Crombie won the Yards Hotel Player of the Day last week. Menzies. Well, I thought they should have left him off when he came off with that shoulder, and I think he's out today. But he's got a huge future. Mulvale, another one. Last week, okay in the first half, maybe a bit down. Second half, bang, good as gold. So their kids are good. They got Dowsett and Vesicuru who have been around a long while to keep them in check. McIntyre's a good player. Rich I like. Fanning's good. Young Harris Monahan plays all right.
Oh, yeah.
I probably left out 8 blokes, which I'm sorry, I apologise for, but the one I won't be leaving out is maybe the Neville Whitley medal winner.
Goes all right, doesn't he?
In the big McLennan. He was Team of the Year ruckman last year, and I didn't see him much, and I was a little bit surprised. Well, I won't be surprised if he's this year because he should be. He's a fantastic player, and they've got a really good future. They've got good seconds. They've got under-18s. They've got everything you need to be successful in this competition. Can they win it this year? Yes. Will they win it? No, I'm going to probably stick with Inverleigh at this point. But if they can get there for grand final day and play like they did last week, you betcha they can cause an upset.
You like East Geelong, Dale?
Yeah, I do, the way they played. As I said, it's a funny game of football. You know, we watched them against Belpost Hill and you would have thought that, the talk's been about them all pre-season. This is the club we've got to watch and all that sort of stuff. And, well, you wouldn't have given them two hoots on that day. But, gee, since then we've seen them play Inverleigh and play very, very well. And you didn't mess your favourite player either, Sam Lowe, mate. You didn't even give him...
I don't know if he's coming back.
Well,
and Cordner Mass too.
I've got him down here. Cordner Mass.
He goes all right.
Yeah, so, they've got a really good... I think they're well structured all over the ground now. They've got some tools, they've got the running players, they've got the guys that go through the middle, they've got probably one of the better ruckmen in the league. They structure up really well, and I think, as I said, coaching-wise, from all reports, he speaks very, very well.
Yeah.
And coming from the background at South Barwon, he is obviously bringing some of that with him across to, and they might have finally clicked with this group of players. So, again, they've got some... I think they've got everything they need to play not only local round-to-round football, rounds 1 to 18, but they've got a group that can take them into the finals out at St Albans and play well up there because of the way they go about it. So
we're left with two. I'm going to be watching them today. Bannockburn, we saw them last week, very disappointing. Do you want to reserve your judgment till about 4:30 tonight?
Well, of course, because there were so many players that I know can play football really, really well that didn't play that well last week. And as I said last week, let's not take too much away from East Geelong. They made them play that way. But there was just a few... They can't afford to play another bad game like that. If they do, they'll get trounced here today, and all of a sudden their confidence will be struggling. They do need the big fella back in Fulton, and by the looks of the team sheets, they've got him. Now, I reckon he'll wear strapping and that. I'm not too sure. Oh, shit, I forgot the clock. Oh, no. Oh. Yeah, here it is. Wow. So, that was... Let's just hope that was a blunder last week, a black mark. Throw it in the bin, move forward, and some of these blokes, I reckon, owe Bannockburn a bit from last week's game, and they've got to play a lot better today. And I think they will.
Jackie Broman's 150th through Durub, so there's a bit of incentive there for him to go well as well.
It's funny, people play the 150th and whatnot, and say, oh, well, that's great. But this kid's, he's just been Bannockburn through and through. He had a crack at Werribee, which meant he had to go and play at, I don't know, Bell Park or one of them to do that. He's come back here, he's coaching them, he's played here, he loves the game, he loves the club, and more importantly, the club loves him. So I think they owe him as well today to play their best footy, to send him to give him a great 150th. And it might not be a win, but just a performance that they can be proud of. That's all I'd be asking from.
I'll tell you what, if we can see a game like we saw Anzac Day, Grab, we'd be pretty happy with what we can get out of it.
I think that's the best game I've seen this year. I think the best quarter of football was Inverleigh against West, but the best four-quarter game I've seen is Anzac Day, and let's hope they play exactly the same as what they did with the Anzac Spirit that day.
And we quickly look at Inverleigh's side. They're very, very impressive today on paper, and they've got 5 at least out that I'd say are in their best side. Good. Still to come back. So they are all powerful, but they've got to deliver on the day. And today's one of those days where I'm sure they'll be wanting to put on a hell of a show.
I think they're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. They had a bit of a period there where they had a few out, your Millions and those blokes, but they're back in and had a couple of games under their belt. Circuit's not playing yet. I think he's doing the run, so he's a little bit away. Violet's could be the best defender in the comp. Long won the medal last time. Grundle's gone down forwards, a totally different player. Robertson, Young. I think Young's been good around the packs for him. I love him. O'Keefe. McEwen Walsh has been strong for him. The bloke I reckon struggled a bit is Matty Tyquin, because I know Ticker's listening in the car somewhere, so sucked in, Ticker. But he's probably my favourite for the Whitley medal.
Oh, dear. We better go back to you, Robert, for the quick first quarter intro. We're about to go.
So we've got the play about to start here, and umpires put the ball in the air, and we've got Fulton on the run loop, so he's straight into it. Ball comes out, goes to Drysdale, the Ballarat Peninsula, goes far forward line. Marcus not taken there, picked up by Grundle. Ball comes back out, and again, came out, went back underneath the contest, holding the man decision, and it's going to go to... Looks like it's going to go to Middleton, and it's Lockie Middleton. So from the middle of the ground, he's going to have an opportunity to deliver the ball into their forward line. Goes straight down the middle. Who's he looking for? That's a great pair of hands. That's Callum Hetherington out from the side, a one-hander, and he has plucked that very nicely, and he will go back and have the first shot on goal. We've gone just on 35 seconds in this first quarter, so Hetherington it is with the ball, and he is about 35 out directly in front. Haven't had a time to look at matchups around the ground.
Yeah, I wouldn't shut up. I talk too much.
So it's kicking the ball. Hetherington comes in, kicks that goal. It's going to be offline, and well offline. It's out of bounds on the full, so that's not the start he wanted. But it was a good grab nevertheless. And
I'll
the
tell you
ball
one
now.
thing. The flags are the exact opposite to last week. So we might see a fair bit of footy on this side of the ground today, boys.
That'll be
Get
nice.
awful cold by 4 o'clock.
So Templeton goes short. Kick wasn't picked up there. Handball comes out the back. Goes to Harding. Harding went back looking for his teammate. Again, couldn't find Richie. And the ball now comes free. Coming through was Spiller. He missed the ball. Picked up there. Ladgrove goes to Battaglia. He puts boot to ball. And he doesn't miss too many. But he has this one. It's just offline. And through for a minor score. So the first score of the afternoon to Tristan Battaglia. And Bannockburn are now one straight behind. They lead Inverleigh, who are yet to score. And that's just on 2 minutes gone in this first quarter. Commonwealth Hotel first quarter scoreboard.
Just waiting on the ball to come back in. It looks like Templeton for Inverleigh has it in the goal square, going straight up the middle with a short kick and finds Billy Cations, who's made position just short of true centre half back. Cations another short kick out. And finds Grundle on the far side of the ground. No, it's Follett. He kicks further down and finds a teammate there. That might be
Tyquin.
Tyquin kicks right across the middle. He's looking for a player this side. Punched forward by Muir towards Donoghue. Donoghue picks up the ball back to Muir. He's tackled immediately but slaps it onto his boot. Gets it forward. Coming out is Casey Meehan. Can't pick it up the first time. Has another go. Lays a tackle on his Bannockburn opponent and will have a ball up. About 40 metres out from Inverleigh's goal now on about a 45-degree angle. Umpire will throw it up. McHugh and Walsh will go up in the ruck with Kieran Fulton. And Fulton gets it down very neatly to Broman, who quickly kicks forward. Templeton for Inverleigh can't control the ball. Harding tries to get it. Hetherington now picks up. Hand passes over the top to Spiller. He's tackled immediately. Ball wobbles out. Middleton, he can't control it. Players going in really, really hard. Cross to Inverleigh's Cations, slaps it forward. Fulton comes out, can't take the mark. Tyquin now is pushed into the back a little, but more in the side the umpire feels. And we'll have a ball up about 10 metres from where we're sitting. Centre wing, slightly favouring Inverleigh's side. It's Fulton again in the ruck with Wilson. Fulton wins again, but Gerard for Inverleigh gets a quick kick forward to Burke. Burke tries to control it. The ball's still in play at this stage. Bannockburn get it through Clifton, cross to Measures. He quickly kicks forward, but coming out to take a safe chest mark is Tyquin for Inverleigh. He's got options in the middle of the ground, but he's going longer. Coming out on the lead, can't take the mark. Donoghue, Fulton whacks it to the advantage of Jervis. He kicks out wide to Broman. Quick hand pass back to Jervis, good pick up. He hand passes again to Cole. Cole kicks in and finds Spiller on centre wing. Bannockburn in attack. They've got a bit of purpose now. Spiller's got another player short, and that's Ramos.
He was one of the better players last week, Spiller.
Yeah, he was indeed. Connor Jervis has followed up and lose possession. Inverleigh back again. Kick it forward, but intercepting there and taking a mark for Bannockburn was Ladgrove. He kicks forward. Players jump on top of the ball, and I think we're going to have... Oh, it's bobbled out now. The umpire is just about to blow a whistle. Bannockburn get it, kick it forward. Players waiting underneath it. Over the back, can't hold the mark. It's Templeton picks up the crumb for Inverleigh, and a neat little pass finds Wilson at true centre half back.
Good pick up from the big fella.
1 point to Bannockburn. We're 4.5 minutes into the Coffin Hotel first quarter.
Wilson decides to come clubber him side of the ground, goes looking for O'Keefe. Ball gets out the back. Middleton is there. Both Middletons there, but it's going to be Lockie that picks the ball up, looks to go long and back to the pocket. He's going to set to a particular task. Can he get there? No, he can't. Ball maybe over the boundary line. Oh, no, touched.
He's got to throw it in.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be thrown in.
I like Battaglia when Wilson takes that mark. He sits on him and stops him from getting up and getting a quick handball off. All the little things that they probably didn't do last week. They have to do them today to be in this contest.
So the ball thrown back in by the umpire this time. Cole doing the ruck work, comes down to going towards Battaglia, cleaned up there. Grundle got the handball away, but the umpire's been given a free kick. Must have been, was it high, was it? That's anything I can think of, or held without the ball.
I don't know, but they're right now. Peters is coming on.
Big interchange happening right here. 4 on, 4 off.
Oh, wow.
So it's Battaglia now. Tristan to shoot for goal, and he is a known goal kicker.
He needs to kick it to get him off to a good start.
Kicks that goal. It looks okay off the boot, and it is going to be through for a goal. So he has the first goal of the afternoon for Bannockburn. It is 1-1 to Bannockburn. Inverleigh are yet to score. We have gone just on 6 minutes. Commonwealth Hotel first quarter scoreboard.
Well, it's a completely different Bannockburn side. All their players have got hands on the ball already, and I reckon someone must have give Battaglia a bit of stick there because he gestured to the crowd and said, have a look at that one. And I tell you what, so he should have, because that was a beautiful kick for goal to get Bannockburn off to the start they need. Fantastic play all the way around.
Yes, there is a fair nest of Inverleigh supporters on the boundary down there, so he was just letting them know that he started well, and he has.
That's that Cations mob down there, I reckon, by the looks of it.
Yeah, looks a bit like it. So back in the middle, Wilson and Kieran Fulton going up. It's Fulton who's won his third successive to Jai Robinson. He got one high on the way through, and he was very quiet last week. He'll be looking for a big game this week without doubt. And he has the ball in the middle of the ground. Short kick and finds Fulton still inside the centre square. Bannockburn going forward. Fulton kicks low onto the lead of Cole. He can't quite take the mark. Trying to win the ball for Bannockburn there, but Cole gets it again. Kicks it forward very quickly over the back of the pack, and it'll be run out of bounds in the forward pocket. Only about 10 metres around from the behind post. Bannockburn leading 7-0, and we're 7 minutes into the Commonwealth Hotel first quarter here at Bannockburn.
I've had 3 texts from Fano already. He just had a prostate operation. They should have cut his fingers off so he couldn't bloody well annoy me.
Ball thrown back in by the umpire. Wilson doing the ruck work, bangs it ball down, goes towards Ettridge. He's just come on the ground. He's taken without the ball, picked up there, cleared away, and that was... not too sure he's got the clearance away. Was it Love, was it? And the ball in the man's of McEwen Walsh, who takes a mark and waits no time. Goes to Brown. His kick a little bit off cue. Meehan made it look good. Goes after the ball. Goes back to Brown. Handballs back inside. And it's turned over this time. But sorry, not turned over. It goes to Burke. Burke goes outside. Ends up with Wilson. He kicks the ball into their forward line. Coming out. Mark not taking. O'Keefe knocks the ball to the ground. Bannockburn are now leading in the race for the ball. He's got Jervis there. Tries to keep the ball alive. Ledgrove got the ball out. And again, the ball through measures goes towards centre wing, and the mark has been taken there by Broman. He takes the mark and turns quickly, goes along the boundary line. Was it just inside? Yes, no. Maybe outside. Free kick going Inverleigh's way, and Filet will be the recipient. So Jack Filet, little short kick goes to Gerard, who's made a little bit of space for himself. And it's going to be settle things down a little bit. He goes again along the boundary line. Grundle comes up, takes the mark. So old man should be arriving at the ground by now. Stubby in hand. Ball goes over the top. Goes back towards his teammate there. And it's Gerard once again who's pushed further down the field. He's now looking for his options. He decides to go towards the pocket. He goes looking for and tries to find Meehan. Had the ball, lost it. Picked up there. Bowden got the ball out. Ends up... It's going to be pushed towards the boundary line. Still remains in play. Umpire comes in and there will be a ball up to take place. About 40 around from the goals. Actually, there was a free kick given, was there? So, Love it was. It went quickly back to the goal square. Ball gets through the contest.
That's
and
one.
The umpire says there's been an infringement there. Free kick will go to Inverleigh.
And that happened. Bowman come on the ground to replace Wilson. Didn't have a man and ran down there all by himself.
And say he needs to come around a bit of an angle there.
Well, that's no trouble today. They just wander around and go bang, don't they?
Around the corner kick. So Bowman, as we said, have just come on, and he is now with an opportunity to put the first goal on the board for Inverleigh. Won't worry about anything but the accuracy here. Steps in, kicks that goal, and that is straight through the middle. He gets his first of the afternoon, and Inverleigh have their first. It is 1-1 Bannockburn. Inverleigh are one straight goal. It is 9.5 minutes gone. Commonwealth Hotel, first quarter scoreboard.
Well, that's probably only their second inside 50 for the day, and they kicked the goal. And that's what happened last week. A lot of inside 50s for no result for East. Bannockburn have gone in now twice, and they've been able to kick a goal. So it's a good reply, because if Bannockburn are up and about, you can't afford them to let them get too far in front. So there's the reply. And I forgot to mention the umpires. I'll do that next goal. I've got a bit of information on the umpires, so I better I better do that.
McEwen Walsh is in the middle. He'll compete against Fulton for the first time at a centre bounce. He's won the previous ones. He goes again, and he's no player really. McEwen Walsh gets it. Hand passes across quickly to Robinson. He slaps the ball forward. Battaglia runs onto the ball, but coming out very strongly for Inverleigh. Getting to the ball over the boundary line to safety is Templeton. They'll have a throw in just in front of the Bannockburn coach's box. They're slightly in attack. They're kicking against a little zephyr of a breeze, but it won't have too much effect on the players at this stage. Fulton again lays it down, but coming through is Robinson. He's tackled immediately by Ritchie. Tykun gets it to Gerard. He can't get clear of the pack. Measures is dragged down quickly with the ball. Players jumping on top of it. It's wobbling out the back, but the umpire's got to be forced to ball it up surely, and he will do now.
There's another thing. I know I say it every week. When the ball's on the bottom of the pack and it's not coming out, blow the whistle and ball it up straight away so no one gets hurt on the bottom of that pack.
Yeah, that was definitely a chance.
Just took a bit long.
So McEwen, Walsh and Cole. Cole got most of it. Kicked off the ground by Love, pushing it forward. But Ladgrove for Bannockburn releases to Broman. And Broman at true centre half back, playing more midfield today. Obviously kicks it, looking for Battaglia. Peters does a very good job, can't keep it in the field. Yes, he does. Burke for Inverleigh grabs it. He's dragged to the ground immediately. That's not going anywhere. Thought that was out, but it's going to have a throw in only about 2 metres in from the boundary line. Battaglia's looking hurt at the bottom of the pack.
He's all right. Just get up and run, son. Run it. You'll be right.
He's up and about now, so have a throw in again. Cole this time and McEwen Walsh. McEwen Walsh is grabbed, and he will take a free kick for infringement in that marking contest. A neat little pass from him across, but it misses the opponent. Coming through is Jerby's long hand pass for him. Reaches Ritchie. Ritchie kicking forward. He's forward in a very good position.
Mark.
That was Fulton. Held his ground. Defenders were all wobbling around him, and he's taken a really strong overhead mark. 15 metres out directly in front.
I don't know whether he's the actual best player in the comp, this bloke. But I can tell you, I reckon he's the most valuable. He can win the game for you in the ruck like he did in a couple of those finals a few years ago. And he can go back, and he's so hard to match up on when he goes forward.
So coming in, as I said, directly in front. He's only really got to hit the boot right, and this will be the second goal for the afternoon for the Tigers, and he's certainly done that. They're up and about. 2 goals, 1-13. Inverleigh, 1 straight goal, 13 minutes into the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter.
Again, good football by both clubs. It's a really good game to watch again, and hopefully we're in for a cracker. The umpires, I forgot to mention today, was Paul McElhinney, 500 games, multiple grand final umpire, and umpire of the year in 2013. Liam Clark is a 16-year-old. He's had 2 years of GFL already, and he's in the AFL Vic Talent ID program. And Ben Clark is a mature age umpire, good decision maker, and he's got his big game, big opportunity today in the match of the day.
So back in the middle we go once again. Fulton now doing the ruck work. He's up over the top. Ball comes back to Robinson. Got a handball outside. We're looking for Henderson. Didn't hit the target. Tap further afield by Hutchison. Did nicely. Now the ball at ground level needs to be won. Battaglia over the top of the ball. Hutchison working hard. The players on top. Ball not going, not coming out. Umpire, good decision. In quickly and will restart play.
I've got to mention Robertson. I thought he was down a little bit last week, but already 3 real crucial handballs out of the pack.
Ruckman go at it again. Wilson up and down. Picked up Fulton. Gives it away to Billy Ritchie. Tried to get out of the contest. Couldn't do so.
He held on to it too long.
Just a little bit too long. And free kick will go to Hutchison. So now Hutchison with the ball just offensive side of centre. And he looks to deliver the ball longer into their forward line. Means going to be the target. Comes out. Going back.
Well read.
It was nice mark there to Ladgrove. He's going back with the fly of the ball. Decides to transfer play. Far side of the ground. And in space, Spiller comes up and takes a mark. It's probably a good space to get Jack Follett out of the full-back position, and if he can work him up the ground like that, it gives him plenty of room behind.
He's got a bit of mobility on him.
So he goes longer now, goes into their forward line, going back. Mark is taken out there, a nice grab, and again, Callum Hetherington. He's taken a couple of good marks now. He's outside 50, been called to play on by the umpire, got the handball away, has a player outside, went back to Hetherington. Little bit of pressure now, got boot to ball, kicks into the forward line, off the mark again. Another one out of bounds on the fall, and didn't have a lot of time to get rid of it. Well, pressure from the Inverleigh defence there.
He didn't know what to do with it, Hetherington, because there was 4 big blokes from Inverleigh in the forward line and one little Bannockburn bloke. So he had nowhere to go. There was no one there.
So Finn O'Keefe is with the ball from that position deep in defence, goes outside 50, out towards the boundary line. Kieran Fulton doesn't muck around with that, just pummels it back over the boundary lines. Have a throw in to take place just outside their forward 50 and in between there and centre wing. Back with the umpire now. So the ball's thrown in by the umpire. Ball out the back, goes towards Henderson. He picks the ball up. He is tackled straight away. And I don't think there's any prior opportunity there. So umpire again to come in and restart play. Still in between centre wing and half forward line. Bannockburn's attacking end. We sit on that far side again. This time Wilson up over the top. Ball comes out, goes to Robinson. Got out of trouble nicely. Puts the boot to ball on the left boot.
Down the ground,
down
little
the field.
bit late.
Yep, and free kick is going to go to Donahue. It is out there, so on centre wing, he's got the ball. No one stands the mark, so Donahue takes advantage and goes quickly into the forward line. That's a good kick up and a good mark there from Casey Meehan. He came out and presented nicely and has got the ball about 45 out from goal, and will go back and kick at goal, which we'll see Inverleigh try and square the goals up anyway. And they sit at one straight goal now. So Casey Meehan back in the side after a couple of weeks out. He's had
quite a few weeks out,
yeah,
actually.
He's been back in the fray for a couple. So Meehan now, he'll kick from pretty much right on the 50-metre arc. Steps inside, long kick at goal. Umpire stands and looks straight up over his head. That is a great finish. He hits his first of the afternoon and the second now for Inverleigh. There's 2-1 Bannockburn. They lead Inverleigh on 2 straight goals. Nearly 17 minutes gone first quarter.
Well, I'll tell you what, discipline plays a fair bit when you're going to have a close game between two top sides. So that down the ground free kick. Buck hasn't had a kick yet, right? So it brings him into the play by giving him the down the ground free kick, and he puts it in the spot where Casey Meehan's always going to mark it. You know what I love? You watch VFL or AFL footy on the tally and they miss goals from 20 and 30. Watch a kid like that run in and go bang and kick it right through the middle. And up the other end, Battaglia. Beautiful, beautiful to watch.
So back in the middle we go. This time Fulton gets the ball down. It comes to Robinson. Robinson goes to Dalton Grundle. He gets handball away. Goes back to Robinson. A little 5-metre kick. Has to be play on. Oh, I would have thought that didn't travel the distance there. Anyway, Burke it is. He plays on now and he goes back into the forward line. Good spoil from behind. Donahue knocks the ball further. Goes to Tyquin. Went on his right foot. Got the handball outside to McEwen Wells. Loads up and goes a goal. And there's another one. A really quick response again once for the Inverleigh side. Cam McEwen Walsh has his first and now the third for Inverleigh. They are 3 straight goals. Bannockburn are 2-1. And what have we ticked over? Just over 18 minutes in this first quarter.
Well, it was Robinson that got the ball out of the centre again, but this time it wasn't the Bannockburn boy. It was the Inverleigh Robinson that got it out. And you got to give it to Tyquin. He's got the ball. He gets tackled. He breaks the tackle. And instead of just kicking it anywhere, he still has a look to give the handball away. And I think we've got a pretty good game on our hands. Now what Bannockburn have got to do is get back and kick another one of yourselves, boys.
So we're in the middle, Wilson and Fulton. Wilson gets most of that to Ryan Robertson. He can't get away, coming through there for Inverleigh, trying to get it. Grundle, he can't get away. This time it's Ettridge, kicks forward for Bannockburn. Picking up on the bounce is Spiller, a long hand pass to Harding. He's somewhat hammered.
Poor old BJ didn't have a chance.
Had nowhere to go. That's probably a kick to Gerard for a push in the back, and it will be. So the very, very elusive Gerard for Inverleigh. Neat little pass and finds O'Keefe. So O'Keefe quickly on the left foot, and Grundle's on his own. Centre wing, Inverleigh in attack. Hand pass back to O'Keefe. He gets around teammate. Hand passes to Robertson. Robertson, long drop punt into a dangerous area. Peters for Bannockburn grabs the ball. The umpire said incorrect disposal, and the free kick will go to Paddy Burke from Inverleigh. He's had a really good month, the young fellow. The coach was talking about him on the radio this morning, how pleased they are to have him in good nick. Laying tackles and kicking goals, an important part of the side, particularly with Toby Manganelli out. So Burke now, that leaves the boot beautifully. 4 straight to Inverleigh this afternoon. Bannockburn 2-1, 20 minutes, Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter.
Gee, I tell you what, poor old, the ball went over the back, and where Link Peters got the ball, he was better off not getting it because there was 3 Inverleigh blokes coming from all different directions. And without having a go at him, he's probably not quite as quick as he used to be. He had nowhere to go. There was just 3 pounced on him. I couldn't tell whether he got a hand to it, but the umpire said not, and Link didn't argue. But, gee, he had nowhere to go. There's nothing much else he could do. It was just good forward pressure from Inverleigh.
Grubby, just want to say the part that Tyquin held in that. Now, he's resting at full forward rather than on the bench. Pretty handy place to be, isn't it, a player of that quality?
Well, that's what Bannockburn will do with Jackie Broman, I thought, but Jack came off, so maybe they take a lesson out of their book.
So back in the middle of the ground we go once again. Ball out of the contest, picked up by Willie Middleton. Handball comes out, goes towards Broman. He's over the top, was taken high, and probably should be maybe there. It was a bit late.
That's a 50-metre penalty and a report, I'd imagine.
Well, I think it'll be a send-off anyway. He hit him so late. I don't think there was any need to do it. I think he could have stopped. But, but what Jack's got to do is get up and say, nothing.
No.
Well, umpire said it was all right.
So ball now goes quickly into the forward line, going back. Filer, good strong hands, takes the mark. So Jack Filer now to steady things up for Inverleigh. Looks to go back towards centre wing. Grozdanovski's going to be the target. He's up, good pair of hands, we know. And away he goes now. Spins and turns and looks back inside. Takes a bounce. Got the handball away to Love. Love was taken high. Handball comes out.
Oh, he's let that go.
That's and it goes now towards Etridge. He goes forward and the mark taken out there by Gerard once again.
Who bumped Jackie Broman, Smithy?
No, I can't remember now. I missed it, Grub. Maybe Ryan Robertson, but I'm not 100% sure. The ball now goes quickly into their forward line. Grundle from behind was interfered with, didn't get the free kick against him. Picked up there by Cole. Got the handball outside to Middleton over the top. Locked to Will. Will now just loads up. Kicks the ball. I think it's going to be wide and probably too wide. And it's out of bounds on the full. So free kick going to Inverleigh. And I'm not too sure who's got the ball out there. We've got the ball. It was Brown that brings the ball back inside to Gerard. Number of touches for Gerard this afternoon. Got an option on the centre wing. Goes in that direction now. O'Keefe comes up and he takes the mark just inside the field of play. Goes quickly. They're looking to move the ball quickly. Got the handball away to Templeton. Back to Gerard. Tries to get around Middleton. Does so nicely now to Love. And he's now got the ball and going into the forward line. Grundle going back at the fly of the ball. Doesn't let him down, takes the mark. Over the top he goes towards Donoghue. Donoghue out the back. Was well done there by Measures. Ball comes out of the contest. Mark is not taken at ground level. Donoghue keeps the ball away. Goes towards Robinson. He's also kept the ball along. Grozdanovski's there. Spins out of trouble. Goes on the left boot. Goes back towards the goal square. Mark is not taken. Umpire said there's a free kick and it's going to go Inverleigh's way. And it's going to be Casey Meehan once again.
It might have been Grozza that bumped him to number 30, I think. Look, I'm not sure it was that quick. Like, it wasn't Mark free kick, couple of seconds, then bang.
Yep.
He came in pretty quick.
So it's Casey Meehan has one for the afternoon and is shooting at his second. He is a good kick at goal, Casey Meehan, and that has gone across the face this time. And 1 goal, 1 for him. 4-1 to Inverleigh, Bannockburn 2-1, and 23 minutes gone first quarter.
Ball's kicked and Ladgrove's taken the mark. Centre half back for Bannockburn from that kick in. No, it's not Ladgrove. It's actually Bowden into the opposite back pocket. Clifton's got the ball now. Neat little kick from him over the top of his teammate coming through for Inverleigh's Grundle. Gets it back to McHugh and Walsh. He hand passes across there to Cations. He kicks forward to, no, it's not Donoghue. Yeah, Donoghue it is. He can't control the ball. Battaglia to Ladgrove. Ladgrove kicks quickly. Tyquin can't hold the ball. Kicked off the ground by Jervis. Wilson for Inverleigh's trying to get a handle on the ball. The ball just paddling away. Finn O'Keefe grabs it for Inverleigh. Hand passes back to Tyquin. Tyquin goes backwards a long way to Templeton. But it releases him and he now kicks set position over the back of the pack. One bounce over the boundary line.
So a bit of experience. BJ really wanted to flatten Templeton then after he kicked it.
Yeah, he did.
But he didn't because he's an experienced player and he knew that there'd be a down-the-ground free kick and possibly a goal to Inverleigh. And that's what Bannockburn going to do now. Don't lose your cool because your captain's been flattened. Although, I'll tell you what, he looks a bit groggy.
Does indeed. Measures kicks the ball forward. Ramos can't hold the ball. He immediately tackles teammate. Middleton gets it over the top to Jervis for Bannockburn. Long, low drop punt from him. Goes out to the back of the pack. Jared Young eases it over the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in just down from the Bannockburn coach's box. They are trailing by 12 points. And we are just on 25 minutes into this Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter. Boundary throw in waiting will be Fulton and Wilson. Fulton front position, slaps it forward, gets it to Ramos. He's tackled immediately, but gets it out the back. Coming through is Spiller. He got one very, very high, right underneath the chops, and will certainly take a free kick. He's a little bit too far out to score. He's kicking from about 55 metres. Hand passes to Clifton. He finds a leading teammate, and coming down and take a strong mark is Billy Ritchie. He'll kick from about 45 metres out, 45-degree angle, in front of the adoring faithful in the social rooms here at Bannockburn. Very important goal.
I just saw that was a silly amble. I didn't think he was going to gain much out of it until that kick that hit him on the chest, and then I said, "Good, well done, fellas. Good stuff."
So Ritchie now, a much-needed goal for the Tigers. Very deliberate. We're right behind it, so we'll know exactly where it's going. And it's going very, very straight indeed, and that is a goal to Bannockburn. They're third for the afternoon, 3-1-19. Inverleigh 4-1, 25, 26 minutes, Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter.
Well, as we said, he didn't play a great game last week, but he kept himself in the contest by kicking 3 goals. So he started off a little bit better today, Billy Ritchie, and he's kicked a nice goal there. So he's predominantly on the forward line. I don't know why they keep coming off, to be quite honest. If a bloke's sitting in the pocket, leave him there. Change your midfield by all means when they get buggered, but I don't know. I don't understand that. Because now their most prolific forward in the last 2 weeks is sitting on his bum on the bench.
So we're back with the umpire in the middle of the ground. It's going to be thrown up and it's going to be hit down. They've gone well read there from Tyker, got the handball away, went towards Burke. Burke also tried to get the handball away, wasn't effective. Umpire said he didn't do that correctly. Free kick will go to Clifton. So Clifton now has decided to go quickly into the forward line, coming up Harding, good bit of pace, takes a mark, looks at his options across the ground, has Fulton, found him, mark was taken. And he's now got further options afield. He goes short, going towards Ramos, but the ball gets a bit too much weight, and it's taken by Dean Muir. Settles things down for Inverleigh across the half-back line. Goes towards Finn O'Keefe. That's the target he's going for. O'Keefe, well done by Ettridge. Able to get a hand on the ball, and the ball goes over the boundary line and will be thrown back in.
Certainly a bit of feeling in the contest now. You can really sense it.
Oh, I sense it when they both ran out on the ground. It's just always there, the tension between these two sides.
They got a barrier up between the blokes in the stands up there too, just to keep them separated. So ball from the contest. Tyquin again tries to win possession, couldn't do it. Love's there, had support. Ball comes out, goes to Middleton on the right boot. He's able to put boot to ball.
Down the ground,
and
umpire.
Goes a little bit further afield.
Ooh,
There's
look,
going
he's
to
elbowing
be
him in the face. Not elbow him, but his elbow is in his face. Willie Middleton had a bit of a crack at Tyquin earlier, so I think Tyquin's just giving him the payback.
So I'm just can't see who's got the free kick now. It's Tristan Battaglia. So Battaglia now decides to go long into the forward line from behind. The ball is spoiled by Cole. Comes to the front of the contest.
That's a free kick.
Well, what should have been, I would have thought, but the umpires let things go. Now he sits around it, and it's going to be a ball up to take place in that forward pocket.
Well, he's on the wrong side of the pack, but I reckon in that situation, he bloody well shouldn't be. He should be on the other side. He was boundary side. You don't need to get boundary side. You're supposed to stay in the field side of it, and he missed that one badly.
So ball back with the umpire now in the pocket. Thrown up by the umpire. Ruck go at it. Cole taps the ball down. Again, back towards the boundary line, picked up by Middleton, went back to Clifton. Clifton off a step, goes back into the forward line, but that's nicely read. And coming out, the mark has been taken out there by Mick Groz. And Grozanowski now goes quickly back into the middle, looking for his brother. Nice pair of hands, takes the mark. He's got options running a further afield. He hasn't seen Finn O'Keefe on this side of the ground.
He's running the 5 metres. Young Ladgrove's running the 5 metre zone. It's a terrible rule, that, when you're just in the 5 metre rule and you're absolutely not getting in his way at all.
Haven't they stopped that now? Haven't they changed that rule?
No, only if you follow someone in or something like that.
That's 100 metres. Must be a 100-metre free kick. Anyway, Dan Groz has been given the goal there, and he kicks his first of the afternoon. And the fifth for Inverleigh is 5-1 Inverleigh, 3-1 Bannockburn. 29 minutes gone, first quarter.
Well, I suppose it's a little bit of discipline running in that 5 metres because they're going to pay it. But what happened after that, I'm not sure, but I can only see it as a bit of dissent after paying the first one. So that's just giving them a goal, which you just can't afford that. Like, I don't even know whether to put that down as an inside 50 because it never got there. They got down 50 and 50.
Yeah, I just noticed a bit of inexperience by the young umpire, and it's not a criticism, but when the tension lifted, there was a few free kicks that could have eased the tension, but I think it's added to it, letting the play go on. It's good for the spectators.
Well, I hate to say this, but I think you finally got it right.
Anyway, we're back in the middle. Fulton and Wilson. Umpires found a free kick to Inverleigh. It's going to Grundle. He must have been held during that contest.
Against Jack Broman.
He kicks forward. The siren has gone. It's quarter time. 3-1-19 Bannockburn, Inverleigh 5-1-31. Dale Smith, give us some goal kickers.
Yes, till quarter time, the home side, one to Ritchie, Battaglia and Fulton. And for Inverleigh, one each to Burke, Bowman, Meehan, McEwen Walsh and Dan Grozdanowski.
It will go back to the studios at 94.7 The Pulse.
Well, I reckon it's K-Rock, 95.5.
This is Match of the Day, Bannockburn versus Inverleigh, 94.7 The Pulse, your home of football.
second quarter. Brought to you by Buckwheats Entertainment Centre.
Back here, match of the day, Bannockburn versus Inverleigh. Before we go to grubbications quickly around the grounds, Winchelsea 29, Corio yet to score, 21 Werribee, 20 Bellpost Hill. Belmont Lions away to a fly, 33, Thompson 19, North Geelong 16, East Geelong 21. And here we have Inverleigh 5-1-31, Bannockburn 3-1-19. Have you enjoyed it, Grubby?
I've enjoyed it so far. It's been we came here after last week expecting Bannockburn to bounce back and have a ripping game. And at this point, that's what we already have. My only worry is Bannockburn played so well, and yet they're still 2 goals down. I'm not quite sure which way the wind's going. Those flags have dropped. I reckon Gilesy or Shorey have tied them down a little bit to try and the old Kevin Shooty and Sturgeon. But what a great quarter of football. You know, sometimes it's hard to pick out a lot of best players. I picked out about 15 blokes got a bit of the footy that time. They all had a big go at it. I thought Matty Tyquin had 7 or 8 touches. Paddy Burke was good. Wilson's pretty good in the ruck. O'Keefe did a bit. Garrard Early was terrific. Meehan looks dangerous. Grundle also looks dangerous. McEwen Walsh was good. Both Grozanowski's got in and done something. Templeton did a pretty good job down back. It was just fantastic to watch. Great footy. Over at Bannockburn, I thought Bowden in the back line was all right. Clifton again. Measures is doing a terrific job on Donahue like he did last time. Battaglia kicked a nice goal early. Broman had 6 or 7 touches as well. Spiller coming on from last week. He was terrific. Harding bounces in and gets. He's got a bit of pace for an old fella. Don't worry about that. And he's hard to stop. Fulton dangerous again. Young Kane Ettridge probably had a pretty good quarter too. So I probably left 4 or 5 blokes out that touched the ball a few times and made a contribution to their side. So look, great quarter. But I'm just a little bit worried that they played some great footy and there's still a couple down. They've still got to keep going and play even better footy against this wonderful side called Inverleigh. You like that, Rob? Is that all right?
Very impressive.
Okay.
I like that.
Oh, good.
So umpire has the ball in his
Accurate.
hand as the siren has sounded. Donahue's gone into the middle, which is good to see him further up the ground. Ball, Ruckman go at it again. Both had hands on it. Comes out to Middleton, got the handball out the back to Broman. Broman puts boot to ball and goes quickly into their forward line. Dan Gros read that nicely and he comes up and takes the mark. Runners outside, didn't use Filet, but can now go short. And Jack Filer takes a mark further afield. He can use Cations. Had to get the pick the ball up on the half volley. Went back to Filer. Filer got the handball away to O'Keefe. And he puts boot to ball. But again, that's gone too wide. And free kick will go to Bannockburn. Not too sure who it's going to go to. Whether it's going to go to Jai Robinson or further back to Kieran Fulton. I saw Kieran Fulton went off the ground. Oh, there he is. I didn't see him come back on. But anyway, it's Robinson now has the ball, goes short and finds that player in Fulton. Fulton's got a runner outside in Clifton. He looks up, little short kick, great kick. Mark is taken out there and the mark is by Hetherington. So again, probably just outside range. And he's called the play on now. Not too sure what he wants to do. Goes back to Middleton. Handball wasn't good. Put him under a little bit of pressure. Got Robertson further afield. Needs to get on the left foot. Does so now. Just puts the ball to a dangerous spot. Spiller is there. Mark doesn't take it. Ball comes down. Broman tried to run through or get through the contest. Didn't get through. And ball is over the boundary line. Going to have a throw in.
Great defensive footy. Is it Muir down there?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, well, that was going to be Spillers all the way, and somehow Dean Muir just got to it and knocked it out of his hands.
So the umpire now about to restart play. Throw in right beside the behind post. Wilson doing the ruck work. Benny Cole in the forward line doing the ruck work for Bannockburn. Ball has come out the back. Wilson nicely. Coming through was Love, didn't take it cleanly. Broman's there, he puts head over the ball, goes back towards Dan Gros. Hetherington over the top of the ball now, got the handball out to Robinson, got the handball to Middleton. He's tackled, brought to bound, the ball comes over the boundary line. We're going to have another ball in to take place. So it's going to be thrown back in. Good head of hair on the umpire there.
That's a very good do.
A good mullet. The ball comes out and it's Fulton that takes it out of the contest. Then he puts it down. Well, he wasn't tackled, so it can't be dropping the ball. Ball comes back out of the contest again. He runs free. Picked up there by Clifton. Tried to get through. Couldn't do so. Burke gave it to Love. Love put the boot to ball to the half-forward line. Again, coming out. Ladgrove it was. He couldn't take clean possession of the ball. Picked up by Burke. Got the handball outside. Goes back to Ladgrove. Picked up this time. Running through the middle of the ground. Grundle. Grundle goes straight towards goal. And he is just offline. And through for a final score. First score of the second quarter is to Inverleigh. It is a minor, 5-2 now. Bannockburn on 3 goals, 1. Ball in quickly from the fullback position. They go out towards centre wing. Spiller comes up, can't take the mark. He's able to run through, can't pick clean ball up. Tapped it further afield, put his team under a little bit of pressure. Tackle was laid, and the umpire has come in now, and he is going to take possession of the ball.
A bit stiff down here. Fulton grabbed the ball and charged out of the pack straight into Lockie Middleton. He couldn't get out of his way.
So the ball now with the umpire, and it comes through. Broman over the top of it again, takes the ball, handballs out, and goes towards the boundary line.
He's going to play deliberate.
Umpire said deliberate. And it's going to be a free kick. And I think out there it looks like Matty Tyquin's going to be the recipient of that free kick. He decides to load up and goes long back into their forward line. Ball out the back. Goes into the hands of Measures. Oh, he was then over the top of the ball. Burke got hold of him. Still sitting at the top of the goal square. The tackle is laid. Ball was not out of the contest as yet. They're trying to work it out. Player sits over the top. Umpire comes in and will take possession of it. So about 10, 15 metres out directly in front of the Inverleigh goal. Ball is thrown up by the umpire once again. This time out of the contest. McEwen Walsh kicked the ball straight up in the air. Comes down again. Spoil from Measures. We'll see the ball run through for a rush behind. 5-3 now to Inverleigh. 3-1 Bannockburn. We have gone 4 minutes in this Buckley Entertainment Centre second quarter scoreboard.
Clifton has got the ball. He's been kicking it beautifully today. And this one is no difference. He's found Bowman half-back flank. For Bannockburn, he goes back inside and misses the man there. And McEwen Walsh for Inverleigh comes into mark. He's man on the mark standing on the 50. And he's going back to have a shot. It'll suit his left foot. He'll be kicking into the breeze. What little bit there is, the flag's just zephyring. He gets a reasonably good lump of that. It's gone long. It's going to land in the goal square. Players go up, punch the ball. It's gone out into the back pocket over the boundary line, about 25 metres round from the behind post, right in front of the club rooms here at Bannockburn. It's 19-33. Bannockburn in attack, desperately need a goal out of this little foray. So, ball thrown in. McEwen Walsh pushed him in the back, and there'll be a free kick to Bannockburn. And I so wonder Grubby didn't point that out. I got my ends wrong. And there'll be 50 metres for a bit of descent as well. So Kieran Fulton will go all the way back beyond the centre of the ground. The umpire, he's gone well past. He's gone straight past the umpire. Kicked it quickly into the forward line. Filet gets it out into the pocket to Cations. Cation hand passes further back to Crawley, and he finds a player loose on the half-back flank. And that looks like a Bowman. He's kicked into the middle of the ground. That is a delightful kick to Cations. Donahue on his own on the wing here in front of us. He's found him. And the coach of the Inverleigh side takes a bounce. McEwen Walsh shepherds, and a beautiful little pass into Finn O'Keefe. He gets away. Long, low stabbing pass into the forward line. Bowden comes out for Bannockburn, tries to get away. Ball's kicked forward by Clifton, lands at the feet of Cole. He can't pick it up, has a second go at it. Punched away from him by McEwen Walsh, who's hit the deck holding his knee and looks to be in a great deal of pain.
I don't like that.
Ball goes forward again, but taking a mark in the forward pocket for Inverleigh is Casey Meehan. But McEwen Walsh is in agony, lying down on the ground. He ran into Cole there when he tried to tackle him. I think he's got knee against knee. And he's still clutching his knee on the ground, just on the 50-metre arc. In the meantime, Casey Meehan will do the old cross-the-body left footer from the forward pocket. Kicks right across the face of goal, one behind only. So it's 5-4-34 now, Inverleigh. Bannockburn are 3-1-19 with 7 minutes into the first quarter.
So the ball from the kicking goes to Clifton. Clifton will go back and short. Well, that had to be a good kick. It was okay. Middleton made it okay because he's been able to get the ball and run away now. Goes back towards centre wing. Filet's there. Spiller make the contest. Both players. Ball goes over the boundary line. And there's going to be a throw-in to take place. Good to see McEwen Walsh up to his feet.
Yeah,
and
look, maybe it's
ground.
just a stinger and he's got a bit of a bruise and he'll be all right.
Looks like he's holding his hip more than his knee. So... Ball's with the umpire, about to be thrown back in now. Thrown in, and again, the still ball comes out the back, goes towards Battaglia, picked up there by Tyquin, got the handball away, goes to Love. Love, little kick backwards, goes in the hands of Brown, got through the contest, then gave the handball back to Tyquin on the right foot and kicks the ball back into their forward half. Going back, measures, doesn't take the mark. cleaned up there by Donahue, runs at goal, and that's not a bad finish. Straight through the middle. Adam Donahue has got his first of the afternoon, and the 6 now for Inverleigh. They are 6-4. They lead Bannockburn on 3-1, and we have gone almost 8 minutes. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, second quarter scoreboard.
I'm not sure what Donahue's done. He's sort of got a couple of kicks up the ground here. This is the second time he's played on Measures, and Measures has beaten him for 1 and a bit games. And Donahue's, where's he moving? He's moving right up to the half-forward position. I'm not sure if that's Measures going to him.
Yeah, it is.
It is now, is it?
Yep.
Yeah. What? I don't reckon he moves.
He goes into the centre of the ground.
Yeah, I don't reckon he does that. I reckon he stays there and he backs himself to beat Measures. You don't want to go in the finals 0-2. He's got to just improve his game, which he just did.
Back in the middle of the ground now, Ritchie picks up the crumb from the ruck work. Comes through is Brown for Inverleigh. Harding's got it now for Bannockburn. He kicks out and Broman is on his own on the centre wing. Drop punt in the forward line looking for Cole, but it's going to beat everyone over the boundary line. Right in front of the scoreboard showing Bannockburn 19, Inverleigh 40, coming up to 9 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. Boundary throw in. We've got Cole and Wilson working away here. Wilson's got himself into the front position. Left hands it neatly down to Brown. The umpire says he was held.
Very good
and
call.
Wilson will take a free kick for Inverleigh. Man on the marks on the 50-metre line, but he goes backwards to Ryan Gerard in the back pocket, and Gerard kicks across the ground. On the far side of the ground there is Crawley. He kicks further down and finds Filet on the half-back flank. So Filet now, long, low drop punt into the centre of the ground, but over the back of the pack, missing everyone. Broman takes an easy chest mark, slaps
Jackie,
the kick
that's
forward.
twice. You don't see
misses
that
his
often.
mark, and Wilson takes the mark for Inverleigh. Donahue takes his kick, and a beautiful pass from him finds Finn O'Keefe. Right on centre wing, Finn O'Keefe breaks away very quickly, kicks into the centre of the ground, and Casey Meehan comes out from full forward, quickly
he's on his
plays
own.
on, kicks it into the square. Grundle across to Burke, and that is another very easy and good team goal from the Inverleigh club, taking them to 7-4-46. Bannockburn 3-1-19, 10 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter.
Well, they really looked like a good side then, didn't they, the way they moved the ball. Look, since Jackie copped that hit, he's dropped the chest mark and missed easy kicks. I think they probably should take him off and have a look at him. You think he might be groggy or something like that? Because
Certainly hasn't affected his endeavour, though, has it?
no, well, nothing will ever affect that. But maybe he's just not 100%. Maybe they should take him off and have a look at him, because it's just not the Jack Broman that we've seen in these last 10 minutes, or ever since he copped that knock.
So back in the middle we go once again. This time Wilson up over the top. Ball goes towards Broman and he gets a clearance from the centre of the ground. Goes to the half-forward line. Middleton there over the top. Boyless ball there from Muir. Kicks the ball off the ground. Runs back towards centre wing. Middleton comes out. Picks the ball up on the left boot. That wasn't a great kick off the left boot there, Willie, but got some ground. Found the boundary line. Umpire says we're going to throw it in, and they've got the ball to their half-forward line. So umpire about to restart it now from that position.
My worry is they've got about the same inside 50s this quarter, but Inverleigh have scored, Bannockburn haven't.
Yep, so ball thrown back in by the umpire. Front position, Wilson over the top. Ball comes back towards Cole. Picked up there by Robertson. Gave it to Brown. Ball at the back goes to his teammate there, Young. He lies over the top of it, and the umpire says it's not going to be coming out. Going to have another ball up to take place there, right on the 50-metre arc.
But when you put your hand up and hit it out of your hand, that used to be a throw when I played. They don't pay him anymore, but...
So again, thrown up by the umpire once again. Wilson up over the top, goes to Robertson. Tackled, he was trying to kick the ball. Ball goes out, and it's going to be picked up. Umpire will restart it once again.
So who's got the ball out there now? Rob, is it Clifton? Oh, no, he's here still.
Ball thrown up by the umpire, picked up there. Brown got the handball away, goes towards Robertson. Robertson, he can't take clean possession, sits over the top of it, measures over the top of him. Umpire again is going to come in. Same process once again.
I'll be living with that mistake all year, Grubby. Oh, dear.
So the ball now back with the umpire. The ball is thrown up. Wilson up again over the top. Again goes to the front of the contest. Head over the ball. It's not going to come out. Rob, you better have a go, see if you can clear it from this position, because we're not getting out of the contest
I
at
will
all.
indeed. Wilson is getting first hand of the ball. I'd like to see him get it to one of his teammates and get a kick away. He's done it again to Finn O'Keefe this time. O'Keefe hand passes, but it's going out to Ettridge. He drops it to Peters. The umpire said he disposed of it illegally, and Matt Tyquin, who laid that tackle, will get the free kick. It's away. Templeton, half forward flank for Inverleigh. Wobbly old kick into the forward line. And taking the mark there is Ladgrove, who's been a very good servant for his club back there. Takes a bounce, running across the face of goal, comes into centre-half back, kicks it and finds Harding in the a true centre-half back position. Looking for option that he comes back the other way and finds his coach Jack Broman on the far side of the ground. Hand passes inboard to Measures. Measures pushed as he kicks it, gets it in the middle of the ground. Tiger with a really good mark. The third good mark for Hetherington for the afternoon. Horrible hand pass at the feet of Ritchie, but he's got plenty of time. It's an awful looking kick into the forward line, but it has landed right on the chest of Connor Jervis. He'll have a shot for goal, about 35 metres out, directly in front.
That looked strange. You called it right. It was a horrible looking kick, but I reckon it went where he wanted it to go. It just didn't spin right. It didn't look good.
Oh, she was a helicopter.
Yeah, but I reckon it went where he wanted it to go. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Jervis kicks and the boys are happy. That's the fourth goal for Bannockburn, 4-1-25. But Inverleigh a 7-4-46, and we're just coming up to 14 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter.
Again, they're not playing bad footy, Bannockburn, but as I say, they've had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside 50s. For that, that's their first goal for the quarter. And Inverleigh have had 1, 2, 3, 4. They've had 5 inside 50s and have moved from 31 to 46. So
2 or 3.
Yeah, their inside 50s are more dangerous than Bannockburn's at the moment. But around the ground, it's pretty close. Inverleigh look a little bit physically stronger to me. I don't know what you think, but.
So the ball back with the umpire now, and it's going to be thrown up. Wilson's still doing the ruck work. Again, both players, there's a whistle being blown.
Someone's run in the square, has he?
I'm not too sure. Is that what he called? So it goes to Lovin. The ruckman's supposed to take the kick.
Well, that's not the boundary umpire, so it's not.
The ball goes into the forward line, and the mark and/or free kick will go to Ladgrove, who's positioned himself nicely. As Rob said, he's had a number of possessions from the half-back line. He now looks to deliver the ball. He goes out wide. The kick wasn't great. Goes towards Hetherington. Ball gets out the back. Wilson's going to be the first to arrive. Options over the top. He goes short. I don't know what he meant to go there, but it went into the hands of Brown. Brown now goes to Young. He goes back outside, and Bowman comes up and takes a mark. So Bowman now on centre wing has the ball in his hand and looking for some options further down the field. Meehan starting to move for him. That's the direction he goes in. It's a nicely weighted kick. Mark wasn't taken out there. Picked up Ladgrove once again. Got the handball away. Needs some help inside there. Picked up by Ettridge. Got the handball away. It's going. Wasn't effective. Picked up. Clearance wasn't good, but it ends up in the hands of Robinson of Bannockburn. And he now goes on the right boot and goes out wide. Broman's in some space out there by himself. Got the ball. Picked it up. Got the handball away. Also needs some help going into the ball's going to be followed. He arrives first. Doesn't, or missed the ball. Spiller now picks the ball up. Handballs back inside to Ritchie. Ritchie over the top. Further afield to Ramos. Ramos goes further afield. Back towards Hetherington. Bounce wasn't good for that play, but he's clean pick up. Got the handball away back to Spiller. Spiller right boot going towards goal.
Oh, he's got a hand on it. He's got a hand on it.
Right on the line, says the umpire, and through for a minor score.
Gee, they needed that.
They would have been handy. And Hayden Spiller, umpire. I think Peter just need to push back that little bit harder, I think. But the ball has come out of the clearance, goes to Brown once again. He goes out wide, looking towards Clifton and or Bowman. Bowman, and the ball goes back over the boundary line. So we'll have a throw in, and again, inside the forward half of Bannockburn. So the ball now thrown back in by the umpire once again. This time Wilson denies. Step out goes towards O'Keefe. Couldn't pick it up cleanly. Picked up by Brown. Got away to Grundle. Grundle handballs outside. Goes back towards Finn O'Keefe. Takes a bounce. He needs to be run down. He's tackled. Handball
That's
comes out.
That's got to be holding the ball.
Yeah, but it is good free. Good decision by the umpire. And Lockie Middleton is the recipient. So he's got the ball, defensive side of centre wing, chips the ball along the boundary line. Spiller comes up. Love it at the back. That should have been a free kick. It would have been a free kick, and is a free kick.
I tell you what, he showed a bit of guts and determination there, the boy.
So Jared Love now with the ball, true centre wing, right in front of where we sit here, just looking at some options. Gerard comes on the ground. He's going to take the advantage now, and he's going to run and carry the ball, kicks the ball into their forward line, going across his Cole, and Benny Cole will take the mark. So he goes across the ground. This player out there in space by himself is Henderson. Settles things down. Looking to deliver the ball now by hand and or foot. Goes by hand to Bowden. That's Luke. on the right boot. His short kick is okay. Hetherington takes a mark, goes to Ladgrove. A little bit of pressure arrives, but he's able to put boot to ball and go to the forward line. But Muir comes up, can't take the mark. Got the handball back towards Love. He's got out of the contest, goes to back towards Burke. Shuffles himself outside and goes back inside to Grozdanovsky. Short kick wasn't great into the hands of Richie's. He plays on now, goes long into the forward line towards Link Peters, 2-on-1. Did that nicely, put the ball in front of himself. Now it's tapped over the boundary line, and the umpire says, let's have a throw in, far side of the ground. 18 minutes gone, and we are at 7-4, Inverleigh, Bannockburn 4-2.
Haven't seen any sight of McEwen Walsh. Don't know where he's at, but he certainly left in a bit of pain. But I reckon it was just a knee-on-knee stinger. We'll see what happens there.
Even though he was holding his hip, but anyway.
Come in, it was tackled Robinson, dragged to the ground. The umpire said you had it too long, son. And Inverleigh, I think that's O'Keefe out. No, it's Grundle who's got the ball, kicks out on the centre wing, runs over the ball, Bowman. It's a neat little kick for Bannockburn back to Robinson. He hand passes inside, gets it back himself. Left foot stab into the forward line.
He should have brought it back.
And mark taken there by Grozdanovsky, gets it into Ryan Gerard. He dodges around, kicks it actually backwards with a sling in the tackle, but Middleton is in the right place for Inverleigh, and he kicks it across the ground. Finds a teammate there who hand passes on to Cations, I think it is.
He did the right thing, Kieran Fulton. He come back to pick up a bloke. If he didn't, that would have went down his throat, but he's done the right thing, but a bit unlucky.
So it's Cations now. Hutchison for Inverleigh, kicks down the centre wing. Teammate coming through there. I think that's Grozdanovsky, kicks in the middle of the ground to Bowman. Bowman kicks just as he's tackled, and that causes an error in the kick, and Josh Cole comes out for Bannockburn. Takes a mark and releases to Measures in the middle of the ground. He kicks it and finds Billy Middleton. He kicks it back across to the half-back line. I think that's Clifton, and another good pass for him finds Battaglia. Centre wing, fast side of the ground, kicks into the middle of the ground, taking a mark there is Locke Middleton. Another short pass for him, misses, but the player's good enough, Richie, to get it back to Middleton. Middleton's got a bit of time now. Long drop punt down the line, but that is a very poor kick again, and Filet takes a relieving mark. For Inverleigh, centre of the ground, Ryan Gerard, who's been very busy today. He kicks across the ground, puts Templeton under a bit of pressure. Lincoln Peters has put the pressure on, but he's good enough to get a kick away. It's the Measures Donahue battle again. Donahue's got it. Left foot pass from him, and that is a ripper. Goes into the middle of the ground, finds Bowman. Bowman kicks a bit further. Measures gets back and does a very good job to spoil. Hand pass comes inside to Donahue. Left foot snap from him. Lands just inside the field of play, but goes through for one behind. That takes Inverleigh to 7-5-47. Bannockburn 4-2-26. Bannockburn quickly come out. Neat little pass finds Ettridge right on the corner of the square. That's a very dangerous kick, looking for Harding, who's a small man in a nest of hawks.
Oh, he stooged him, man. Connor Jervis took a bit of a dive that time, and I think the umpire got stooged.
Anyways, good enough to get himself a free kick. So he kicks into the middle of the ground and finds Cole. That's Ben Cole. He kicks out onto the centre wing. There is Ladgrove. Ladgrove's a neat little pass looking for Spiller, and Spiller comes out, takes the mark.
Beautiful kick, that.
And there's a bit of pressure after the mark was taken by Grozdanovsky, but it's going to stand. Spiller will have a shot from goal. 40 metres he'll kick from, and he's a bit tighter than a 45-degree angle on the far side of the ground. Vital goal for his team.
So vital. And I'll tell you what, Bannockburn are doing the right thing. You have to put pressure in the middle on Inverleigh. If they go in the forward line without pressure, they will cut you to ribbons. But they've actually put a lot of pressure on them to make it hard for them. But they need this one.
So Spiller, who's been a very good forward the game and a half we've seen, but that's gone right across the face of goal and is out of bounds on the full. And it'll be Jared Young, who we haven't seen much of today for Inverleigh. Very experienced player, but quiet by his standards. He has the ball in the back pocket and kicks and finds Tyquin on his own. So it's 26 plays 47. Inverleigh in front with 22 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. Punched away by Fulton. Comes to Middleton on the bounce. He kicks back into a hot spot, but taking a mark there for Inverleigh is Muir. He's been a very serviceable defender again today. Wilson screaming for the ball on the wing. He's got a mismatch, which he's finally got to, but it's Grundle who gets there first over his head, over the boundary line, out of bounds.
Well, he wanted it because he was a foot and a half taller than the bloke he was on, but it just took too long to kick it. You've got to kick it quicker than that when you get a mismatch like that.
So boundary throw in now. Fulton and Wilson, they've had a pretty good battle. A few they're gone up. Wilson got a hand to that one again, but comes off a foot. Out to Grundle. Grundle to O'Keefe. O'Keefe hand passes, misses Tyquin. He's under a bit of pressure now, and that is a very, very good tackle indeed by Lockie Middleton. Ball's going nowhere. Umpire agrees, and we'll have a ball up. There is some serious stuff going on here with these players. Fulton gets a tap out, but it's going to go directly over the boundary line. And there is a bit of,
you know why?
Bit of feeling out
You know
here
why?
today.
Because O'Keefe gave Willie Middleton one in the chin. That's why he wasn't happy. Those redheads, you got to watch that temper.
So Wilson gets his opponent out of the way. Robinson across to Battaglia. He kicks forward. Jared Young is tackled immediately. He's not going anywhere. No prior opportunity. That should be a ball up. And it will be right on the 50-metre arc. Bannockburn in attack, desperately needing a goal. 24 minutes into this quarter. They're down by 21 points.
He's no spring chicken either, Jared. He'll come into his own when the fizz goes out of the game a little bit, I think, when the sting comes out.
So ball thrown up in the forward line out. Wilson gets the ball down. He goes back and has another go at it. Got the handball over the top. Went to Robertson. He tried to put the ball further afield, but it goes to the boundary line and it will be thrown back in.
Don't know about you, Grubby, but I can taste those little party pies. Remember them from last week?
Oh, yeah, they were great. The Lamingtons with the strawberry on them, they were magnificent too.
So umpire about to restart it. Ball is thrown back in again. This time front position. Tapped down again. Wilson had a little bit of hand on that, but it's picked up there. Tyquin got the ball out. Goes to Robinson on the left boot.
Oh.
He puts the ball straight back over the boundary line, and it's going to be a free kick going to Inverleigh. Dean Muir looks like he's looked down that area of the field and will take it.
Probably had a little bit more time to steady too, but the pressure in this game's that high. There's a lot of perceived pressure out there because of the way both sides are tackling.
So just waiting for Dean Muir now to restart play. Kicks the ball in short, has Young, and he's now just looking at his options at the time being. Not too worried about moving the ball on that quickly. Umpire now tells him to do so. He decides to go towards centre wing. Going across, ball gets out the back. Well, it wasn't out the back because Measures was able to trap it. Picked up there. Fulton got the handball outside. Back towards Robinson. Tyquin dives on top of the ball. Clifton's all over it. Back over the top once again. Umpire in very, very quickly this time. And that was good because he's made a decision. And he's going to throw it up right on centre wing.
Well, the decision he had to make was, did Tyquin dive on the ball and bring it in? And he said, no, he didn't.
So the ball now thrown up once again. Ball comes down out of that contest. Picked up out there. Ball goes to Battaglia. Battaglia to Middleton. Middleton now runs. Looks at his options. Going to go long and into the forward line. Gone to the smallest bloke. And the biggest bloke out there. Filer takes a mark. Goes to Crowley. Crowley goes back to Filer. Filer goes outside. Has a player out there and it's Brown. He comes back across the goal. Kick is okay. Into the hands of Grozdanovsky. This is Dan. And he's going to go towards Robinson further afield. Has to be a nice way to kick, and was beautiful kick. Robinson could have gone down the line, but he went back towards Gerard. Gerard outside now goes towards Finn O'Keefe. And Finn O'Keefe, just defensive side of centre wing, looks back inside. Another great kick, goes towards Wilson, takes the mark and runs. Hayes on now, kicks up over the top, goes to Grundle. Will he stop and prop? Yes, he will.
He has to.
He'll go back and he'll kick towards goal. So Dalton Grundle has one solitary behind for this afternoon. Gave one away to Burke in the goal square. Now has a chance to go back and kick the goal himself.
It's probably the same problem. Another ineffectual inside 50. You know, they kick it to the littlest bloke on the ground on one of the biggest. It just makes the inside 50s ineffectual if you don't use them.
So Grundle steps in now, kicks that goal, looks okay off the boot, and it is going to be straight through the middle.
That's the difference.
He has got his first goal of the afternoon, and now the 8th for Inverleigh. They are 8-5. They lead Bannockburn on 4-2. 27 gone. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, second quarter scoreboard.
There's some beautiful field kicking in that
well,
passage.
there was, but look, that's the difference between the two sides. Bannockburn's inside 50s are not coming off. Inverleigh take it down for their first inside 50 in about 8 minutes, and they kick a goal with it. So it's all right to have your inside 50s and we're going in, but you've got to use them. You've got to kick a little bit more. They've had more. The Bannockburn have had more inside 50s this quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 to 6. And yet they've been outscored fairly much for a long way.
We're in the middle of the ground. Tyquin gets it to O'Keefe. Slaps it on the boot very quickly. But it lands on the chest of Cole. For Bannockburn, that's Josh Cole. And he kicks across the ground, and Broman, who continues to find space on his own. God, he works hard.
Oh, he's had a lot of touches.
A really, really hard runner. So Broman now kicks down the line. Spiller will be his target, but punched away by him by the ever-reliable Filet. And it runs over the boundary line. For a throw-in, 28 minutes into this second quarter. It's the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. Inverleigh lead 53-26. And we're waiting on the boundary.
The boundary umpire looks as old as Smitty.
It's Fulton that nudges Wilson out of the way, takes the ball on his chest, kicks forward. Filet comes out, traps it now. Neat little hand pass back to Brown. He kicks into the middle of the ground, and that's going to work beautifully.
That's hurt Jack more than it's hurt the other bloke.
It's marked by Ryan Robertson, and Broman attacked him in all fairness, but he's come off slightly worse, as Grubb said. So Ryan Robertson now, lovely little leap. That's a beautiful pass to me, and he can't quite hold the ball. It bobbles out to Bannockburn. Ladgrove gets it to Jervis. The siren goes. It is half-time here at Bannockburn as the 29th minute just ticks over. The home side are 4-2-26, but the top team and premiership favourites, Inverleigh, are 8-5-53. We'll be back. Oh, no, goal kickers first.
Yeah, goal kickers till half-time. 1 each, 2 for the home side. All single goal kickers, Ritchie, Battaglia, Fulton and Jervis. And for the Inverleigh side, 2 to Burke, 1 each to Donoghue, Bowman, Meehan, Grundle, McEwen, Walsh and Dan Grosdanovsky. So you take a short break, come back, and we'll go through all the action here from the first half this afternoon. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
the third quarter. Brought to you by De Grandy's Sports and Cycles.
We're back here at Bannockburn, where the home side are trailing 26-53. Everything's under control quicker than we thought. Dale Smith, get the third quarter underway.
Yes, umpire with the ball, and the ball is thrown in the air this time. That's Fulton over the top, goes to Broman, tries to get the handball out. The ball did come out, goes to Love. Did that nicely, got in and out of traffic. Goes to the half forward line. Ladgrove able to get a hand on the ball. Ball runs back towards centre wing. Cations tried to kick the ball off, went straight back to Ladgrove in his hand. Taps it further afield. Lockie Middleton's over the top of the ball. Nice clean pick up and runs away from the contest now. Looks up and goes into their forward line kick. A little bit too much weight on it. Over the back to Dan Groz. He's taken the tackle. Ball comes down. Umpire says incorrect disposal. And free kick is going to go to Hetherington. And he's got the free kick. Not too sure why he's looking sideways just at the time being. I would have been putting the ball long. He goes to Middleton. He now goes into the forward line. That's a mark. And the umpire says it's going to be paid, and Billy Ritchie takes the mark. And we just tell you that we've got two players that won't take any further part in the game. Mick Grozdanovsky just walked past. He's fully dressed, and I wouldn't think that McHugh and Walsh will have any further part also. So maybe the rotations are one advantage Bannockburn can hold, but the game definitely belonged to Inverleigh in the first half. So Billy Ritchie with a chance now to kick the first of the second half. And it's going to be from about 35 metres out, so distance won't be a problem. The accuracy is what he needs. The kick off the boot looks magnificent. He puts his hand in the air and he says, I'll take that. And they have the first after half time. So Billy Ritchie now with 2 and Bannockburn with their 5th. They're 5-2. They trail Inverleigh on 8-5 and have gone a minute 30. Buckley's into De Grandy Soccer Sports third quarter scoreboard.
Well, that's exactly what they needed after being so ineffectual going inside 50 in the first half. They've gone inside 50 and kicked the goal straight away. And that's what they need to do, because I think around the ground they're holding their own with Inverleigh. And that's a great goal to kick. And I tell you what, the reason I'm late being back, as the interleague kids are coming off the ground, I didn't bring them back. Someone just brought them in, but I had to get through the interleague kids, so I elbowed a couple and knocked a couple over and got through. They're all my heights, that's fair enough.
Back in the middle, it's Wilson who gets the tap out. It comes through a bobble of hands to Tyke when he kicks forward, and that's a very good mark by Finn O'Keefe. Copped a little bit of attention afterwards, gets up rubbing his head, but he'll go back and have a shot for goal. He'll kick from about 50, man on the marks, 45 from goal, and if they can get a quick reply here, it'll take a bit of sting out of Bannockburn, but they've done exactly what they needed to do, get straight onto the board quickly. But it's O'Keefe now, still giving himself a bit of a rub on the head. Slightly built young midfielder comes in now. Runs past the 50 and gets onto it. It is a very long enough kick, but very wide. Out of bounds, on the full in fact. Tried to put too much effort in that to get the distance and failed quite miserably. And we've got the biggest tray of sweeties that I've seen for quite some time. Grubby's got it under control. There's cream, lamingtons, a whole lot over there. So Bannockburn now through Cole. Kick the ball down into the... Tycoon almost takes the mark. Battles on again to try and win the ball. Comes out of the back to Bill Middleton. He kicks down the line. Pack of players coming up, and that's a very, very good mark by Daniel Grozdanovsky. His brother's gone for the day, as Dale pointed out. Forced to play on now. Long, low, and very poor drop punt, and Ladgrove takes the mark for Bannockburn in defence. Plays on immediately. Finds a man on his own far side of the ground is Cole, but a bobble of Inverleigh defenders come out and keep control of the ball. Love it. This time gets it across to Brown. He can't break clear. Billy Middleton again kicks the ball forward for Bannockburn. Gets it across to Ramos. Ramos hand passes to Fulton, who kicks into the pocket. The ball bobbles over the back of the pack, and out comes the ever-reliable Filet. Jack Filet for Bannockburn across Inverleigh, across to Brown. Brown kicks down the line. Jared Young gets some attention as he attempts to mark, and he'll take a free kick. Centre wing, Inverleigh heading into attack again, leading 53-32. So it's Young now. He's been moved into the forward line. Short kick finds Ryan Robertson. Plays on immediately. Long drop punt looking for Grundle. Punched away by Cole. Jai Robinson is first on it for Bannockburn. Can't pick it up. Burke gets it out the back to Young. Young hand passes to O'Keefe. Quickly kicks forward. Coming out very strongly for Bannockburn is Clifton. Back to Henderson. Henderson to Measures. Measures across the far side of the ground and coming through there to take a mark for Bannockburn there. Cross to Middleton. He kicks it to Broman, who again has found space on the far centre wing. Hand pass across to Jervis, who followed up really well. Jervis takes a bounce, gets onto his right foot, kicks into the full forward position, but taking a very strong mark for Bannockburn there. I think it's Filet, is it?
Crowley.
Crowley. He kicks across to Jared Young. He's been very busy after a quiet first half. He hand passes to Tyquan. That's a poor quick kick by his standards. Grundle can't control the ball. Clifton picks up for Bannockburn. Across to Bowden. Punched away from Robinson by Grundle. And we'll have a boundary throw in. Right in front of us, centre wing. 5.5 minutes into the De Grandy's Sport and Cycle third quarter.
Tell you what I do like. I know there's always it's fearsome against these two sides, but the injured bloke walks past and BJ says, "You're right, mate." And off the field, there's great respect.
Yeah, indeed. Wilson gets it down. Clifton can't pick up for Bannockburn. Wilson again. Hand pass is smothered. Taps it through the back. Middleton. This is just a really hard slog affair, and that is a good decision by the umpire. And Ettridge will take the free kick for a high tackle.
Yeah, no, you're a good kid.
Ettridge kicks to a lead from Spiller. He doesn't let him down. He's got some interference after from Fowler, but the umpire said, "You had enough of it, son." And Hayden Spiller for Bannockburn will take the ball, looking to bring his side into attack. Broman's leading into the pocket, and that's where he's going. Pops it right on top of his head. Punched away by Grozdanovsky. Battaglia tries to pick it up. Gets a hand pass inside to Ettridge. Ettridge's kick is smothered, and it will go out of bounds in the forward pocket. Yeah, Battaglia's been pretty quiet today. His brother was in the earlier game after a quiet game last week.
Goal early, but
yeah, he hasn't done.
I'll tell you another very important factor too. These sponges have got real cream. None of that rubbish, the pretend stuff. They're real cream. Don't worry about that.
None of the zhuzh out of the bottle.
Ball is thrown back in the forward line. Ball comes in front of the contest. And it's going to be running back towards the boundary line, coming from the contest. Tyquan, little chip back across the front of goal was okay. Went to Gerard, picked the ball up, put boot to ball, drives it back outside. Good contest there. Not too sure who it was, but it was Brave. Picked up there. Grundle goes back to Young. Young will go back to Grundle, and now he can run. He looks the ball and goes short to Meehan. Oh, ground. The umpire, did he pay it? I don't think he did.
Nah.
Call the play on, says the umpire. He goes forward, and Burt comes at the kicker, and he takes the mark. Go back and try and kick his third goal.
So what's that? 4 or 5 inside 50s.
Yep.
And then one back.
Yep.
Maybe a goal. Well, he mightn't kick it yet, but that's the tale of the tape. That's the story of the day.
So he's been pretty good with his goal kicking to Burke. He has 2 for the afternoon. Can go back. And now he has 3. Yes, he has.
Yes, he has.
He's got his third. And the ninth now for Inverleigh. They're 9-5. Bannockburn on 5-2. And we have gone just over 7.5 minutes. Third quarter, De Grandy Stock and Sports third quarter scoreboard.
Well, I'm not doing inside 50s on the stats anymore because they don't mean anything. Bannockburn have the inside 50s on the board, and they've just been a little bit ineffectual. Whereas, as I said before, Inverleigh get one after about 8 minutes, and they kick a goal, and that's the difference between the two sides. Around the ground, it's bloody close, and it's good footy, but they're just scoring better than what Bannockburn are at the moment. And that can change come finals too. That doesn't count them out of it. They're a lot better than last week, I can tell you.
The ball's thrown up in the middle. That's a very good tap by Wilson to Love. Releases him. He kicks quickly into the forward line. Grundle mishandles and coming through is Burke, and he's going to line up for his 4th for the afternoon. On the run, just fades away to the right. And one behind. Bannockburn 9-6-60. Sorry, Inverleigh 9-6-60. Bannockburn 5-2-32. 8.5 minutes into the Grandy Sport and Cycle third quarter. And it's Clifton again from Bannockburn who has it. And a neat little pass finds Jervis at true centre half back. So Bannockburn controlling the footy at the moment. Jervis kicks the ball across and finds leading Fulton. He's paid the mark. Just short of centre wing. Bannockburn trying to mount something here. Fulton off a step, kicks down the line looking to the lead of Cole. He can't take the mark. Comes over the back of the pack, and it's Broman in there battling very hard as he has all afternoon. Comes out the back to Templeton. He can't get a kick away. The players jump on top of the ball again, and this time it'll certainly be a ball up. No, the umpire said, "You've had it too long, son." And underneath that, Inverleigh have been penalised. Coming up with a free kick. I think it's Ritchie for Bannockburn has it. He plays on now, stabbing little pass in, looking for Spiller over the back of the pack. Muir gets it, kicks it forward very quickly, but it's all Bannockburn. Fulton picks up on the wing. Hand passes inside to Ritchie. Ritchie's kick again, but this time straight to Inverleigh. That kick into the forward line, as Grubby mentioned earlier, has been the killer for them all afternoon. They just haven't been able to mount solid enough attacks. That's a beautiful mark by Kieran Fulton, cutting off another Inverleigh attack. They've certainly got numbers back there behind the ball. Kicks across, and Lincoln Peters has it now. He kicks long into the forward line. Where's this one going? Spiller tried to mark. Should have got a free kick for front on contact. Broman comes forward. Left foot kick.
Hello.
The umpire's blown the whistle.
Down the ground. It's going to be a Bannockburn free kick in the goal square.
And BJ Harding will take the kick 5 metres out directly in front, and that was definitely a free kick. Broman was hammered after he kicked that unnecessarily, I would have thought. I
thought they should have got the first one, but the bloke didn't go for the footy. He just bumped into him. It was interference, and they should have got the first one, but they got the second one, so don't worry about it. Put it through, son.
Which he has done. Very important goal for the Tigers. They're 6th of the afternoon, 6-2-38. Inverleigh are 9-6-60, 11 minutes into the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter.
They've just got to keep doing that. 3 times in that quarter, Billy Ritchie kicked the ball in. I got cream all over the microphone, everything here. I wish they didn't bring these cakes. But Billy Ritchie's the one putting the ball in, and he's in the middle now. I think Billy Ritchie's got to be the one on the end of it, because I think he's the bloke that's going to kick the goals. He's the only one that just keeps on kicking goals after goal after goal.
Yeah, too much reliance, you're right, on Spiller at the moment. Just the only tall option down there. Benny Cole's competing, but he's not a Fulton taking those marks, so... Ball back with the umpire in the middle of the ground. This ball comes down, goes to Robinson, busted his way through, got the handle away, went towards Fulton. Ball now comes out in the contest. It's kept alive, and Tyquin puts boot to ball, goes back into their half-forward line. Spoil from behind. Ball comes to ground. Man sits over the top of the ball. Picked up there by Henderson. Got the handball outside, goes towards Robinson. Goes now to Bowman. Bowman got the handball back to Tyquin. Tyquin is tackled. He stood up in the tackle, got out of the tackle, put boot to ball, and goes back into the forward line. Ball now in dispute, picked up there, clean by Measures. His kick around the body doesn't travel that far and is actually spoiled by Grundle, and the ball goes over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in.
Grubby, I know you're big on your research. I just went through in the last 6 games, Paddy Burke has kicked 18 goals playing as a small forward.
Look, he's one of the kids that's improved a hell of a lot, isn't he? And that helps in the league. It takes a bit of pressure off the other big forwards.
So Ruckman go at it once again. Ball comes front of the contest. Ritchie tries to kick the ball out of mid-air. Cations puts his head over the ball. Picked up. Robinson got the handle away. Goes towards Middleton. He picks the ball up. Needs to get rid of it. Got a little boot to ball. Umpire's on the wrong side. Allows it to go now. Tyquin picks the ball up. And he looks back inside. Little wobbler off the boot. Goes towards centre half forward. Burke is there. Runs onto it. Runs to it. He's got some number of players around in opposition. Jervy's run over the top of it. Picked up by Burke again. He went back towards goal. He went back towards goal, and he's got his number 4 for the afternoon and the 10th for Inverleigh. They are 10-6, 6-2 to Bannockburn, 30 minutes gone. Third quarter, De Grande Cycling Sports, third quarter scoreboard.
Well, you might be able to help me out. I forgot the binoculars, as I said, but what did Connor Jervis just do then? He looked like he ran right over the top of it.
I think that's what he did.
Did he just get a bad bounce or something?
I think he was going too quick for the
he
ball.
He just went straight over the top of it and lollied back, and he said, "Thank you very much." Still a good goal to kick, but I tell you what, 4 goals, 2. No, it's not over. They've still got enough of the football if they can take it forward and kick goals. But they've got to do that. They can't get a lot of the football and not kick goals.
So in the middle again now. Wilson and Fulton get a bit of each. Jai Robinson has picked it up. The umpire said he was tackled high by Bowman. And the little nuggety Bannockburn left footer will take the ball in the centre of the ground and look to bring his side forward. Plays on quickly now. It's a long drop punt. He's kicked it to BJ Harding, who's 4'3", and coming out to take the mark is Grozdanovsky.
That's what I'm talking about, ineffectual inside 50s.
He gets it across to Hutchison for Bannockburn. For Inverleigh, he's on the 50-metre arc. He goes backwards towards goal, and marking out there for Inverleigh, I think, is Muir. He kicks it across, and Wilson, the ruckman, has made position. Comes to file it. He kicks down the line, and that is another contest of a little bloke on a slightly bigger bloke. Love does a very good job for Inverleigh, but Cole gets it across to Bill Middleton. He kicks long down the line. Spiller's his target. That was a good attempt. Didn't quite hold it. It's Brown for Inverleigh. Gets it to Wilson. Wilson's to Cations. Cations inside to Tyquin. He evades another tackle. Hand passes back to Brown. Brown finds a loose player in the middle of the ground, but it's Dan Measures read that beautifully and came from behind to take a relieving mark for the Tigers. Right in the centre circle of the ground, Measures kicks to the wing, and Ben Cole has found position on the wing. He's got another loose player further forward is Harding. Harding's looking for a...
You have to go back, DJ. You have to go back
pass
some.
relief. But he can't. He's found Clifton in the pocket. He's looking to kick the ball right into the teeth. He'll be looking for Fulton. Punched away from him. Inverleigh defenders with Violet picks it up. Oh, Billy Cations overruns it. Spiller comes in. He's grabbed, and I think it'll be high, and it is indeed.
Yes, it is for sure.
And Hayden Spiller will take a shot for goal for Bannockburn. 25 metres out, 45-degree angle. And this one will keep the game well and truly alive.
Yeah, well, it will. And I'll tell you after hopefully he kicks the goal. But look, they're playing all right, Bannockburn. They're playing. They made the move, right? The ball goes in so many times to a 6'4" bloke on a 3-foot plate. When Fulton's down there, right, they've got to knock it away from him. And that, instead of getting an easy exit, bang.
Oh, he's missed.
Hayden.
He's missed.
Crikey.
6-3-39, Bannockburn, Inverleigh 10-6, 66, 16 minutes into the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter.
They look like they've got a good inside 50, and it turns out ineffectual again.
So a beautiful long kick out of the back line by Templeton. It finds Grundle, half-back flank. Not a lot of options. He's waiting. He'll just kick down the line. Wilson's there. Wilson's on the lead, and Marks. Oh, he's pushed
him
by Cole.
Well, he had to. He had nothing
and
else.
Wilson will take the free kick for Inverleigh right on the wing. Got a loose player in the middle of the ground, but that is a poor kick because Billy Middleton is intercepted. Gets it across to Broman. Broman kicks and finds Ramos just outside 50. Ramos kicks across the face of goal, and taking the mark there is Hetherington. He's been good in patches today, taken 3 really good marks. He gets it to Broman, he runs inside 50. It's a 9-iron, up and under, in the goal square. And there is a nest of Inverleigh players, and Grozdanovsky takes the mark unattended. That's a kick out towards Young. Young cleverly gets away from an opponent, gets it inside there. Templeton kicks down the line, and Grundle just touches the ball before it goes. No, it's deemed to be out the full. Bannockburn have the ball through Henderson, back inside Ladgrove. Ladgrove to Broman, who's had a heap of the footy this afternoon. That is a dangerous kick, punched away from Robertson. Donahue gets it, dabbles it across to Burke. Burke runs around, breaks a tackle, comes inside again, hand passes across towards Hutchison. He kicks forward, but Broman has covered an enormous amount of ground and has taken a mark at centre half back. He gets it to Measures. Measures kicks down the line to Hetherington. He's on his own on the wing. He gets around a man. No, he doesn't. He's tackled.
Great tackle. That's the tackle of the day.
He did handball it away, the umpire said. It comes out again. Hand pass inside. I think that's Ritchie. Ritchie gets it across to Ladgrove, and Ladgrove's come down from the back line to have a shot at goal. But it's just across to the right, and it's another behind to the Tigers. 6-4 they are now, I reckon. And Inverleigh are 10-6. Ball's come out, and Cations has it in the back pocket for Inverleigh. Gets it across to Grozdanovsky. Plays on immediately. Drop punt down the line. Be looking for Tyquin, but it's out on the full, right in front of where we're sitting. 66-39, 18.5 minutes into the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter. Grubby's just eased up on the cream for a minute.
Oh, the diabetes, the blood sugar's high, mate, I tell you.
Bowden kicks down the line, but taking a relieving mark for Inverleigh is O'Keefe. Kicks into the middle of the ground to Meehan, but it's over his head. Cole picks up hand passes a long way backwards to Jai Robinson. He's under a fair bit of pressure. Tackled by Burke. Gets a hand pass way back into Bowden. He kicks across goal, and Measures takes the mark just on the end of the 10-metre square. Plays on quickly away from Hutchison, kicks down into the middle of the ground and finds Hetherington. Hetherington's got a loose man outside of that. I think it's Battaglia. He kicks into the middle, and we find Ladgrove. Ladgrove kicks right across, and here's Cole's made position on the far side of the ground, but it's knocked away from him by Tyquin. He recovers, gets it to Gerard. Gerard to Brown. Back to Tyquin, spins out of attack beautifully, gets it to O'Keefe. He's away now. Drop punt, looking for Burke. Measures is behind him. Burke stays on his feet. He's in front of Measures. Overruns it now. Coming through for Bannockburn. They're trying to pick the ball up is Robinson. He can't get away. Burke grabs it again, but he's tackled to the ground by Measures. We'll have a ball up, 20 metres out. Inverleigh in attack, leading by 27 points at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter.
He's hobbling off a bit too, BJ Harding. He's got a bit to hobble up.
Thrown up again. Donahue grabs it, can't get it onto his foot. Bobbles in the front of the pack there. No one can pick it up. Measures comes out now with the ball. A left foot kick across his body towards the boundary line. Battaglia and Cations are there over the boundary line. We're going to have a throw in far side of the ground. Inverleigh slightly in attack.
Look, after all the attack they've had, they can't give up a goal here. They can't give
Dale
one up.
Smith's working away at the afternoon tea's doing a very good job. Jervy's hand passes, releases
He's
that
lifted
Lockie
this kid.
Middleton, who has done a marvellous job this quarter. He
Yeah.
has indeed. He kicks down. That's a very good mark nearby Richie. Hand passed away from Richie. Oh, that's very good defence by Inverleigh.
What's happening? He's got kicking in danger. There was no one within 8 metres of it.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
Bucks a fortune here, but I tell you what, when you've got blokes like Fulton and Richie in the forward line, they look dangerous.
Oh, they do indeed. They look dangerous. And I thought that was a great bit of defensive work by Crawley. Backed himself to knock the ball away and then released it from what I thought was released from the area.
Well, put it this way, if I'd have been out there, it'd have been 50 metres for descent and maybe a bit more because there was no one near that kick. It's not dangerous.
So Middleton hand passes
No,
quickly
not allowed
to
it.
Richie. Umpire said not on. So Lockie Middleton will come back again.
Hey, Kane, is your old man come and watch you? Or is he out at Lara? Is he?
No, Lara not playing today.
Oh, that's why he's here. That'd be right.
So we're back to Lockie Middleton. This Grubby's catching up with an old family.
Well, if he's here with a camera, come and take a photo of us, Ettridge, you mug. A great man. Great
Lockie
man.
Middleton will kick from about 40 metres out directly in front. Bannockburn need this. It's left the foot pretty darn well.
Tell
He's
you what.
happy. The team's happy. They're 7th for the afternoon. 7-4. 46, I reckon. The Inverleigh a 10-6, 66, 22 minutes into Grandy Sport and Cycle third quarter.
I just reckon it's about Bannockburn's structure. If you can get Fulton down there at the same time as Billy Ritchie, right? Before, as I said, they were a bit too small down there, and Filet's taking marks, and they're all marking the footy. But when Fulton's down there, they don't mark it. They've got to get it away from him. And with Billy Ritchie on the deck, they look a much dangerous side. Because, as I said, they've had more inside 50s, and they're not out of this game. They kick a couple here, and they're right back in it.
So ball back with the umpire in the middle of the ground. As I said, Wilson doing the ruck work. Cole up early, but it's over the top. Wilson, ball comes back towards Tyquin, being good, got the ball out. And as far as Ryan Bowden, though, Bowman had the tackle, and umpire says there was no prior opportunity there.
But to do that, Cole's got to play well in the ruck against Wilson.
He's got to compete.
He's got to hold his own in there, yeah.
So now he's at the front position, but it's Wilson that comes up over the top, knocks the ball forward. Jervis goes across. He left it behind, picked up there. Bowden goes to Clifton, and he goes.
Jeez, I like this kid.
Yep, and he's been good, Middleton, as well today. So this is Lock Middleton. Yeah, good use of the ball. He goes out wide, made Spiller's job a little bit harder. Ball gets out the back. Filet's there. He sees the ball over the boundary line. He gave it towards teammate there, Muir. And I think now the ball is heading towards the boundary line. It's been kept in the field of play. Now they run around and converge on it. Umpire sits over the top. What's he going to do?
Hold the ball.
And it's going to go
Inverleigh's way. It's against Jackie Broman.
So it's going to Gerard, is it? So he's got the free kick on the half-back line. As I said, a couple of rotations down Inverleigh. May it hurt them, I'm not too sure, but at the moment they're going okay. Ball goes back towards centre wing. Marcus not taken. Oh, Love read that nicely off the contest. Runs inside.
Look at Jervis chasing, though.
Puts a little bit of pressure on him. Goes towards Burke. One out in the goal square. Good work there. I think that was Bowden that came across, made a contest. Tap further afield. It was Measures. He did nicely. Picked up this time by Bowden. Kicks the ball back outside 50. Goes towards Tyquin. Clean hands. Clifton over the top. Goes inside. Goes towards Middleton. Got the handball to Ramos. Ramos now can run and carry the ball. Play player on the far side of the ground is Battaglia. Oh, the bounce wasn't good, but he's going to be able to go back and collect it. Handball was going to, then to stopped and propped and went into the forward line. Richie was his target, but going past was Muir. He gets in and out of the contest nicely and now kicks the ball back towards centre wing. Going towards and over the top of Hutchison. He's got support though. Meehan arrives, picked up out there on the far side. There's numbers over the top of the ball. It's Inverleigh with the numbers out there. They just need to clear the ball out of the contest. They do so by hand. Goes back to Brown. Got the handball further afield. So they run now from the half-back line. O'Keefe goes into their forward line. Not too sure what the target was. Yeah. Dalton Grundle's there, but it's picked up again. Burke, look back inside, and the mark will be taken by Donoghue. So he will steady things down. And from about 30 metres out, 45-degree angle, will go back and shoot for goal.
Well, look, they might kick a goal anyway, but you got to give a pat on the back for Connor Jervis running. That was a goal if Connor doesn't run that fella down. Paddy Burke would have kicked that goal, but the pressure that Jervis put on him was terrific. But it might be to no avail because Donoghue probably should kick this.
So at the moment he's going to be just taking his time. Steps in now. Donoghue has one for the afternoon, and from about 35 metres out, kicks a goal. Umpire has not even moved there. Just look straight back over his head, and now he's got his second and the 11th now for Inverleigh. They are 11-6. They lead Bannockburn on 7-4. We've gone almost 26 minutes. Third quarter to Grandy Slogan Sports, third quarter scoreboard.
Like I said before, you got to love that. Like, how many players, not just at this level, but at every level, come in for a set shot at goal and just run a little bit too close to the man on the mark? So they have to kick it a bit like Jackie with the bloke coming towards him the other end. He had no choice in that. But they just run too close to the man on the mark. He left about 8 to 10 metres between him and the man on the mark, laid back and went bang and never ever looked like missing. And that's that little bit of extra class.
Middle of the ground now. Inverleigh have got their lead out by another goal. Wilson, who's starting to get on top in the ruck, gets it to me and he can't quite get away. It's a neat hand pass, releases Wilson himself. Horrible looking kick into the forward line. Grundle tries to make position. Burke pushes his teammate and passes over to Jared Love, who runs in and kicks another goal for Inverleigh. And I'm just wondering, 4 goals and 2 little goal assists this quarter. Do you reckon Paddy Burke likes to taste of Wagyu beef, Grubby?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's getting closer to it every minute that's played. But he kicked the goal. He flattened him after the kick and that, but like they used to say in the old days, mate, you make him earn him. You don't just give it to him and pat him on the back and bowl him over. They didn't give a free kick or anything, so nothing wrong with that.
No, very, very good team goal, that one.
My only worry is what I've been talking about all day. They've just gone in another 2 or 3 times inside 50 and kicked 2 goals, whereas Bannockburn have gone in 4 or 5 times, and, well, they've kicked 2 goals as well, but they just need to tighten up and kick a couple of goals when they go in, because they've gone in plenty of times.
So Wilson and Fulton again. Wilson gets another one. Tap out coming through is Tyke when he can't pick it up. It's a ball just bouncing around inside the centre like a pinball there. It's at the bottom of the pack now. It's come out again though. Going in is Hetherington trying to get it out. He's got it now. Hand passes. No, can't get it out. Surely this time we'll have a ball
up. Pull it up, mate. Pull it up.
So to my left I've got Grubby sugar levels up to 19. Dale's been revitalised with a good dose of sugar since half time.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of sugar there, but I'm drinking no sugar.
Clifton, who's done a very good job for Bannockburn this afternoon. That is a lovely little kick again, but just over the top of the target in Ettridge, and it's been marked by Templeton for Inverleigh. Plays on, kicks long towards centre forward. But the three-quarter time siren is gone. 7-3-45 Bannockburn. Inverleigh at 12-6-78. Dale, who's kicked all them?
Yeah, goal kickers for the home side. Richie with 2. One each to Battaglia, Harding, Middleton, Fulton and Jervis. That's right, 2, 4, 5, 7. And for Inverleigh, 4 to Burke, 2 to Donoghue, 1 each to Love, Bowman, Meehan, Grundle, McEwen Walsh and Dan Grozdanowski. So we'll take a short break, come back. Hopefully we'll have some three-quarter time scores from around the ground. You listen to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
The last quarter, brought to you by Morris Finance.
Back here at Bannockburn when the home side trail 46 to Inverleigh's 12-6-78. Before we go to Grubby-cations round the grounds, Winchelsea 14-9-93, Corio 2-2-14.
Cool.
We have no score from Anarchy and Geelong West. Werribee Central's 4-10-34, but Belpost Hill have come back hard 10-6-66. The close one is at Belmont. They've kicked 11-7-73, but Thompson are now well and truly back in the hunt, 10-9-69. North Geelong are 3-9-27, East Geelong 10-8-68. And here, as I said, Bannockburn 46. Inverleigh 77. Grubby, it has been a ripper game of footy.
Well, before we talk about that game, that's so close. That's so important, Belmont and Thompson. If Belmont can hold on and beat Thompson, that puts them in real trouble. That puts them. I think they'll finish fifth. But when I went through it, I had them beaten Belmont.
Yeah.
So, if they can hold on Belmont, Thompson will world of trouble.
Well, they were about 30 points down, so they've obviously got momentum.
They'll get back
now.
And win now, Thompson. They get that close, but it's a bit of a scare for a while. This game, look, I've enjoyed it from end to end, in the middle of the ground. I've enjoyed it all. But Bannockburn, they just haven't kicked enough goals with the inside 50s that they've had. And Inverleigh, when they get it in, they've just kicked a few more. Look, if Bannockburn can get the first two, this game isn't over, but it's a big task from here. A couple of good players. I think Billy Ritchie come in that quarter. Bowden, I've liked his game down back. Clifton, Daniel Measures is probably still on top of Donahue. Broman's knocked up getting touches. Ladgrove's been fantastic. Lockie Middleton, that quarter was good, as was Willie. Out of Inverleigh, Tyquin again, he's had a million possessions. Donahue had a pretty good quarter. Paddy Burke's a likely looking customer. He's playing pretty good footy. Luke Wilson's been on top all day. Jared Love come into it like I said he would when the fizz goes out. He played a really good quarter. Finn O'Keefe as well. I just think they're too far in front at the moment, but a couple of real early goals and just maximise your inside 50s and you can get back into this game.
Don't know what's happened there. Late change, structural balance, but just about to throw the ball up and Inverleigh's Bowman runs onto the ground and Templeton runs off. So we're just waiting. There's a young 16-year-old umpire standing in the centre of the ground with the ball in his hand, and I reckon he's done a pretty good job this afternoon.
Yeah. Look, they all have. There's been a couple of bewildering decisions here and there, but overall, for 3/4 of football, they've done a pretty good job. I think they got most of it right.
He's been most impressive, very confident looking about what he does, and that's what you need to be in this job.
I think you'll see this kid umpire AFL football one day. There you go.
He goes
So
all
the
right.
ball back in the middle of the ground, and the umpire has thrown it in the air over the top of the ball. Middleton tries to get the ball out, sits over the top of it. Will need to release it. He's got support now because in there he actually got to his feet. I didn't see him do that, but it's picked up there by Measures. Put boot to ball, goes into the half forward line.
Good
Edmondson
grab.
in front, takes a good pair of hands, goes outside to Battaglia now on the left boot, delivers the ball into the forward line. Mark is not taken, gets out the back, goes towards Filet over the top. Brown gets the ball back further, and he's got Crowley in the goal square. He will go to the pocket and have Gerard now with the ball just steadying things down, and we'll look at his options further afield. Tyquin move for him, but he goes there now, and it's a nice kick, and he takes the mark. So Matty Tyquin with the ball, half back line. Kicks along towards centre wing, out in front, and the mark will be taken out there by Fulton. So he's got an option inside. He goes quickly in there, and that's Middleton. They probably need to keep the ball moving so Inverleigh can't sit up behind the ball. Little chip up over the top's okay because Ritchie comes out and takes the mark. Ooh. So Ritchie's now outside forward 50. Can't kick from that distance.
No.
Next kick going in is important. Goes to the pocket. And it got to who he was looking for.
He's got
Mark
there, but he
was
dropped
there.
it.
I think had a good set of hands. Might have been Jervis, it may have been. I'm not 100% sure, but he sits over the top of the ball now. Ball comes out of the contest, and again, it's not coming out any further. Umpire surely has to pull it up. No, he's let things go again. Now he's going to come in, and a ball up will take place. Forward pocket area.
That's always a small criticism of mine, to leave the ball in there a little bit too long, in case someone does get hurt.
The ball thrown up very quickly. Wilson, ball taps out, goes back towards the boundary line, picked up and cleared by Inverleigh. They go back outside 50, but the mark has been taken out there on the far side of the ground. So Bannockburn with a little bit of time and space now. Measures just tips the ball forward. Mark is taken out there by Willie Middleton. So he's now got the ball again outside. The next kick coming in, that's the important one. Needs to hit a target. Wilson's just standing there with his hands in the air, just blocking some traffic. Ball goes in quickly. Good spoil from behind. Out the back goes to Grozdanowski. He can't pick it up cleanly. Picked up there, Bannockburn, get the ball back outside, goes to Ritchie, I think it was, who goes across the face of goal and hits the behind post, out of bounds on the full. And there's going to be a free kick going to Hutchison. So Hutchison now with the ball in the back pocket.
How long's he been back, Smithy?
I think this is his first one. He might have played in the seconds last week, I think.
He looks a little bit rusty, but I tell you what, he's a good bloke to have coming back.
Yeah, so he's this might be his first senior game back, but I think he played seconds last week, normal reports. He chips the ball out towards the 50, up in front O'Keefe. Hetherington took the ball out of his hand, picked up again by Lockie Middleton. Little chip inside the ground, wasn't good, but it's picked up nice and cleanly by Meehan on the run. And he now goes quickly into the forward line. Burke from behind, or Burke from in front, couldn't take the mark, cleaned up there by Measures, goes outside, has Jervis on the centre wing, far side of the ground. Needs to look up, got the handball over the top, goes inside, out back goes to Jervis. He steps back inside now, delivers the ball, a long kick into the forward line, and the mark has been taken out there. I thought that was clean. Someone said they had a hand on it, but I'm not too sure whether that was the case. And Ladgrove now can go back and shoot for goal. His field kicking would suggest he would kick the goal, but you put two sticks up Grubb and it becomes a different option. So he steps in and he has hit the post.
Oh, no!
And it's now 7-5 for the home side Bannockburn.
That all started from Luke Bowden, a beautiful
12-6.
punch from behind.
So we've gone 4 minutes in the final quarter. The ball is kicked out into the back pocket. Mark is taken out there by Filet, and he delivers the ball further afield. Spiller up in front. So the ball's going to come back very quickly. Another opportunity here for Bannockburn. Spiller, again, it's too far out to kick the goal. He needs to go the long option. The only one there will be looking towards the full forward position. It's picked up again. Ladgrove got the ball, dropped it, and the umpire agrees. Free kick will go to Inverleigh. So no real hurt on the scoreboard in this final quarter. And the ball comes across the ground into the hands of Filet, who takes a mark and will just steady things down.
That's fine. Let him have that, but pick up the next kick.
So he wants to go back to the goal square.
You can have that too.
That's okay, because that's Dan Groz standing in the goal square. Handball goes over the top, goes towards Gerard, and he runs and carries now, goes low and flat outside.
That's the
and
one.
Again, the kick was poor again into the hands of Broman. Steps
Kick
inside
a goal,
50,
Jackie.
runs, kicks long and across the face. And has just bounced into field of play, so we're going to have a throw in. So we've gone almost 5 minutes, and it is 7-5 Bannockburn. Inverleigh are 12 goals 6. Final quarter action here. I expected to go in the full, did it? Morris Finance final quarter scoreboard.
Hutchison has the ball for Inverleigh, kicks to Casey Meehan, who's been a little quiet today, just can't quite grab it cleanly, and that was another case. The ball is out of bounds.
They're just happy to have him out there, I think.
I'll bet.
Have a run around and that. I think they'll be looking to use him in the finals more than anything after the time that he's had off.
So Kieran Fulton's back in the ruck against Wilson. Fulton gets a left-hander, but it's Wilson who crumbs it. Tries to get away, but Finn O'Keefe is grabbed. The umpire said no chance of getting rid of it. We'll have a secondary ball up. Right on centre wing, Inverleigh leading by 25 points. It's Fulton, but over the top, Wilson gets it down, but it's Battaglia who picks up the crumb, kicks it delightfully to Ritchie. Can't quite hold it. It's Muir who picks up a crumb, kicks it out wide to Donnie, who he marks on the run. Full stretch, turns around and kicks a low drop punt into the forward line, and that is a delightful kick that lands onto the chest of Paddy Burke, who's already kicked 4 this afternoon.
I think they were pretty lucky then. If it's not a down the ground free kick, it was high. So you bring it back to Battaglia. I just thought the umpire missed that one.
They may have missed that. It's got down the other end in a flash, and now Burke will be having a shot for goal. And I think he likes that. He likes it a lot. It's his 5th for the afternoon. And his 20th goal in the last 6 matches playing as a small forward. That is an astounding performance. And Inverleigh now extend their lead out to 13-6-84. Bannockburn 7-5-47. We're almost 7 minutes into the Morris Finance final quarter.
Well, Bannockburn had the field position and they just lost the ball. When you lose it and your defenders come up, It makes it so easy for them. They do cut you to ribbons. Good sides will do that. But it could have gone the other way and we still have a game. But I think it's just about curtains.
The quality Inverleigh field kicking today has been the difference in the two sides, and there was a couple of examples of that. Then Robinson from the centre bounce kicks it forward. Clifton's done a very good job, wins it again. Hand passes to Measures, kicks quickly in the forward line. Spiller comes out, who's also done a very good job in the forward line again today, but coming through, Cations gets it, hand passes to Gerard to Tyquin, long hand pass to O'Keefe. He kicks a nice low ball, and that is a beautiful lead and mark and kick from O'Keefe to get to the chest of Casey Meehan. Long, low drop punt from him. On the lead is Adam Donoghue. He's certainly within his range. He'll kick from about 40 metres. He's tighter than 45 degrees, right in the forward pocket in front of the Bannockburn club rooms. And the Inverleigh captain, I think, has got two today, has he? Or just the one?
If he could kick a third, he'd be pretty happy, because I still reckon he's lowered his colours to Dan Measures today.
Yeah, I know he rates Measures very, very highly. So Donoghue tight in the forward pocket from 40 metres out, leaves the boot very, very nicely, but just slightly across the face of goal, punched through for another behind Inverleigh's 7th for the afternoon. 13-7, 85. Bannockburn a 7-5, 47, 8.5 minutes into the Morris Finance final quarter.
So Clifton now with the ball. He decides to go straight up the ground. Short kick over the top. Ball gets through towards Harding. I don't think he's travelling too well either, BJ. He's struggling to run and walk into anything. Ball gets down the far end of the ground. Muir couldn't take the mark. Handball comes outside again. Back behind the player, but Gerard comes up from behind, takes the ball. Needs to get it out. Did so nicely. Got it through his legs. Now it's ball sitting in the contest. Umpire will have to circle. And quickly he comes in and says there's going to be a ball up to take place inside forward 50.
He just needed that handball to be in front of him and not behind him, and away they went. That's probably a goal then.
So the ball again thrown up by the umpire. Wilson gets the ball out, goes to Bowman. Bowman got the handball out. Again, put his team under pressure, but Tyquin gets it back again, goes to Gerard, who kicks out towards Robertson, and he takes a mark. Just stops and props now, just settle things down. He's got some options further along the field. Goes towards O'Keefe. Cations is also there. Middleton gets the ball. Goes down. Goes to his brother-in, Lockie Middleton. He runs away from the contest. A little bit of dash. Looks up and goes towards the centre forward position. Mark out the back. Rowley has done that nicely. The umpire said there's going to be a free kick.
I reckon the umpire, the other umpire is going to pay this.
This one here at the back has paid it.
Yeah, I reckon he spotted it. The other umpire didn't spot it because he must have just looked the other way, because that was a definite push in the back. There's no doubt about it.
So the ball is going to come back to Hetherington again from just outside the 50, probably just a little bit too far. He decides to go to the pocket, goes out towards Ritchie. Again, there's the same sort of thing, hands in the back.
The little hands in the back one, but the other one was a dead set push.
So Muir takes the mark, steadies things up and goes towards Tyquin. He takes the mark, looks to deliver the ball across the ground, goes towards Love. Bowden is there, but Love read that nicely and takes the mark. So steadies himself down now, got an option across the ground, goes that way now, Robertson. So he can play on, and from centre wing, far side of the ground, it's a nice cook again, out towards Donoghue, who is also taking the mark. Donoghue, nope. He's looking at some options, goes quickly, presenting up, was Grundle, couldn't take the mark, went back and collected, got the handball occasions, boots a ball, goes back towards the goal square, but is offline through for a minor score. So 13-8 now to Inverleigh, 7-5 Bannockburn, and 11 minutes gone, final quarter.
Ball comes in, Bowden marks, hand passes back to Clifton, who kicked it to him in the first place, and Lockie Middleton, who's done a fine job this afternoon, back to Clifton. He looks for poor little BJ Harding, who's under a nest of hawks again, punched away from him. Crawley gets it, he hand passes away in a fashion. The umpire lets it go, coming through Grozdanovsky, back to Love, who's done a really good job this afternoon as well. Kicks it back to Measures, he covers off nicely. That is a beautiful kick by Measures into the middle of the ground and finds Lockie Middleton. That's just absolute class from Measures there. Middleton kicks across the ground, looking for Cole. Adam Donoghue for Inverleigh grabs it, kicks a wobbly old drop punt into the forward pocket. I reckon he'd like to have that back for another go.
Yeah, well, he would, but just see, like, as soon as you make a mistake against the good sides, they hurt you. He didn't hurt him that time with a goal, but it looked like, you just can't make those mistakes because you're going to get pummeled.
Boundary throw in now. It's about 5 metres round from the behind post, right in front of the Social rooms here at Bannockburn. Inverleigh in attack, leading 86-47. Ball is thrown in. It is Casey Meehan who's in the ruck. He does a reasonable job to get it down in front of the pack, but players grabbed immediately. No one's going anywhere, and we'll have a ball up about 15 metres out from the Inverleigh goal, directly in front. Meehan again calling to go up against Cole. Neither player gets any effective hand part. Lockie Middleton kicks across his body into the centre of the ground. Luxor Fortune comes over the back to Spiller. He hand passes to the running Battaglia, who hits up Will Ritchie, sprinting down the middle of the ground. Ritchie sees Cole. This is Ben Cole, half forward.
Got Broman in the middle on his own.
Broman is on his own. He's gone the other opposite out of the pocket to Battaglia. He marks in front of Ryan Robertson. He's inside the 50-metre arc, but I don't know that he's got the legs to go there. But he's found a lead, and that is Kieran Fulton, who comes out and marks in the pocket. Tight angle, but he's only about 25 to 30 metres out from where he will kick the ball. And a much-needed goal. 13 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter. The home side trail by 39 points at this particular stage. So Kieran Fulton kicking for what is an understatement to say a much-needed goal for the Tigers. Very serviceable this afternoon without being dominant. Fulton comes in from the pocket now. Leaves the boot looking like a good old drop punt. The goal umpire never even twitched.
And Buck caught a point
but
anyway.
He's missed it. He must have been standing behind that post, and it's just gone to the left of it. So one behind only. And back into the full-back position, it's Muir for Inverleigh, who's been pretty handy back there again. He plays on, kicks straight down the middle of the ground with a horrible wobbly drop punt over the back of the pack to Spiller. He releases Clifton, and we've been delighted by his kicking today, and there is another example of it as he's found Broman inside the 50-metre arc. He'll kick from about 48 metres, not quite directly in front, but not too far off it. Been a superb player today for Bannockburn.
Yeah, he has. But I tell you what, you've got to love this kid, Clifton. I don't know where he come from, but he's a bloody good player.
Beautiful kick of the footy.
His disposals have been terrific.
So Broman very close to the man on the mark, kicks across the body. It's long and drifting slightly to the left, and another behind. 7-6, 48 now Bannockburn. Inverleigh 13-8, 86 with 14 and a half minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter. And Brown for Inverleigh kicks wide and finds Templeton in the far back pocket. Hawks got the ball back again, and there's a bit of going through the motions at this stage. He's come back and found Jack Follett in the back pocket. Follett's found a loose man, which is Finn O'Keefe, way across the other side of the ground, half-back flank. They're still inside the 50-metre arc, outside now, as O'Keefe hits up Grozdanovsky on centre wing. Grozdanovsky's been pretty handy this afternoon. His brother's off the ground already injured. Handballs across to O'Keefe. O'Keefe handballs back inside to Brown. He is tackled immediately, throws the ball up in the air. I don't know how he got away with that, but Bannockburn have the ball. Broman kicks beautifully across his body into the pocket.
Yeah, well done.
BJ Harding takes a mark.
He thought about moving on, didn't he? Probably could have, BJ.
He twitched a little, but he's got one leg that's not working super well at the moment, so he probably didn't back himself to do that. He'd rather back his kicking.
That's exactly what happened. Earlier in the game, without that knock on the leg, and he'd have been off then, BJ.
So Harding is going for the Stevie J, cross the body from the forward pocket. Quite a tight angle, but he's only 30 metres out where he'll make contact with the ball. Comes around now, kicks across, and that is going to pull up short. Left-hand side, one behind only. 7-7-49 Bannockburn. Inverleigh, sorry, that's 7-8-50. Inverleigh are 13-8-36. That's exactly 6 goals, 36-point leaders. Inverleigh, and this is the Morris Finance last quarter.
So the ball's brought back in. Brown decides to take a bounce and come out towards centre wing. Wilson up, takes a mark. Too tall there for Ryan Bowden. So now with an option to go back into the middle, but he's not too sure where he wants to go. Runner outside is Filet if he wants to go there. He's going to have to be good with the kick, and it was because it landed just inside the field of play. And Jack Filet now has gotten options further afield. He looks back in the middle of the ground. Had to be a good kick and was, because found Cations. Cations now has a runner outside. Crawley takes the mark and continue on. He goes into their forward line. Good use of the ball. And again, Burt comes out and he takes another mark. And he is now going to go back and kick for goal number 6. kicking hasn't let him down this afternoon. He's been one of the better ones kicking for goal. And for Inverleigh, he's going to move in now. Kicks at goal. Again, he likes it straight off the boot. No, he didn't. And it's off the side this time. And it's behind. That doesn't matter. They're 13-9. Comfortable leaders over Bannockburn at 7-8. And Ryan Bowden just going back to do the kicking in duties.
Belmont are rallying, Grubby. They're still 7 points up over Thompson, 94-87. So they've kicked a couple of goals each in the last quarter. So they're still having a crack.
That could have huge repercussions if Belmont can hold on there, I tell you.
Belpost Hill are now 30 points in front of Werribee.
Oh, they're home, Belpost.
Ryan Bowden, they come down the middle of the ground, straight into the hands of Spiller.
Yeah,
Two or
pay
three
that.
goes at it, and the marker's been paid there. So the ball comes back to him now.
I like
Play
this
on,
kid.
he goes across the ground. Nice looking kick. Marker's taken out there.
Kick
They
it.
continue. Ball goes into the forward line, but reading it nicely was D. Muir.
Do you see the pressure they put on even at this late? They're a good side. Don't worry about that.
So the ball goes back outside now, and it's picked up out there on the far side. They're looking to bring them along the boundary line. Brown goes further afield. Ball. Burke was taken underneath the ball, picked up there by Cole. He's tackled, needs to get rid of it, did so. And it's picked up there by Robinson. He looks inside, goes towards Benny Cole. He takes a mark. So Cole has options across the ground on short. Goes there to Ramos. Missed that player into the hands there of Young. Goes over the top, back towards Love. Try to get through the contest. Was tackled. High, says the umpire. And I think it's going to be a free kick to Jared Love.
It is.
About 35 to 40 out, directly in front of goal. He's usually a good kick for goal too, Jared Love. So we'll expect this to go through.
Look, he's played okay too, but he played really well the last time we saw him. So he's put together a couple of performances that I like anyhow.
32 minutes in. If you're a Bombers fan, you'll be happy. They are 9 points in front of Sydney Swans after trailing for most of the day.
So Love now from directly in front of goal. Kicks at goal, and that is a nice
That's a
finish.
beauty. That
Nice
is a
finish
beauty.
there. That's his second of the afternoon and the 14th now for Inverleigh. They're 14-9. They lead Bannockburn on 7-8. We've gone towards 20 minutes in this final quarter. Morris Finance final quarter scoreboard.
Look, it all comes back to the fact that they're probably the best side in the comp at the moment, right? Oh, I'm not even mentioning that sponge cake you're eating, but it all comes back to that. You can just play your heart out like Bannockburn have done. What they've got to do now, Bannockburn, is play the game right out. You've got about 8 minutes to play. Try and kick a couple. It's just to give you some confidence that you can come up against them next time.
Back in the middle now, Wilson and Cole go up. Wilson wins it. It comes down towards Tyke and pulled away from him. A bit of a wrestle. No, it was Grundle, actually. That's still going on between the two number 22s in the middle of the ground. It's Tyquin and Jervis. Jervis goes over the line. We'll have a boundary throw in just below where we're commentating from. Centre wing at the Bannockburn Reserve. The home side 43 points in arrears at the 20-minute mark of the Morris Finance last quarter. So Wilson again to Grundle. He's tackled high as he tried to burst through the pack. Plays on immediately. Hand pass in the middle of the ground. Releases Hutchison. Lovely little pass from him out towards Donahue, but punched away from him by Measures. Done a very good. That's a great hand pass by Burke to release Donahue, but Bannockburn's defence is very solid in that little unit there. Held that up, and they're going to win themselves a free kick. And it'll be Battaglia who wins it, gets it to Clifton, and another beautiful foot pass finds Ramos centre wing for Bannockburn. He finds Henderson a bit further down the field, and Bannockburn, I'm not quite sure whether, that umpire's paid that to Hetherington. Might have been a half volley, but got underneath it. He kicks it back into the middle of the ground, and two 22s are going at it again. And Lockie Middleton takes it back to Clifton, and Clifton finds another target. Henderson centre wing. He runs round, drives it forward, but coming out. That's got to be a free kick.
Why?
That had to be a free kick to Hutchison.
Why? He hit him straight up the middle. He didn't hit him in the head. You're allowed to bump in this game, aren't you?
Cranium.
Hey?
I reckon he got him high.
Well, if he got him high, report him and send him off and give him 8 weeks, because I don't reckon he did. He hit him right up the middle, and that's what's taken that out of their game's bullshit.
And Hutchison kicks down the line. That is a mark by Grundle. He kicks it onto the lead of Donahue. Can't quite hold the mark as he falls to the ground. Gets it to Brown. Brown back to Donahue. Donahue to Young. Young hand passes back to Donahue. He's 55 metres out, kicks down the line looking
Well
for Gerard,
done.
but that is great defensive work by Connor Jervis. Takes it away from
kick
Gerard.
it, 'cause you got blokes loose
Takes
here.
another couple of bounces, kicks down centre wing, looking for Hetherington, who's marked beautifully
that's
today, and
lucky.
he's marked well again there in front of Finn O'Keefe. Hetherington wheels round on the right. That's a horrible kick into the forward line across his body, dribbles over the boundary line in front of Kieran Fulton, and another poor entry which has dogged the home side all day. They're 50, Inverleigh 93, 22 and a half minutes into the Morris Finance final quarter.
Sometimes it's better not to run the ball, right? It's great to see a bloke run down the ground, but when he's got two blokes here on their own, kick it first, not to a... He got the contest anyway, but that's why I wouldn't have done that.
All over the back of the pack from the boundary throw in Brown, who's been pretty good for Inverleigh today. Hutchison took his eyes off the ball, and Battaglia was able to get himself back in the contest. Ramos hand passes to Ritchie. He's tackled, forced a hand pass away, and Blake Hutchison kicks it into a nest of Tigers. They've hand passed 20 metres backwards to Harding. He kicks across the ground. O'Keefe comes over the back, can't quite hold the mark. Cation's hand passes to Inverleigh back to middle of the ground to Brown, over the top to Gerard. Gerard kicks down to me, and he gets it on the half volley nicely. Hand passes back this time to a teammate in Bowman. He kicks it 30 metres backwards to Blake Hutchison. He takes a mark on the half-back flank for Inverleigh, and they're just filling in a bit of time now. They can see the sirens probably only 5 minutes or so away, and they lead by 43 points. They're gone back into the goal square almost now to Muir, and Muir's kicked it back across goal to Crawley. Crawley's kicked down the line looking for Templeton. Takes a nice mark. We're now half-back flank, opposite side of the ground. Templeton kicks into the middle of the ground and finds Jack Follett. Follett to Templeton. They're just containing possession at this stage. Templeton kicks it. It's smothered by Peters, but he gets his own crumb. Kicks down to the forward line. Meehan comes out. Can't pick it up on the half volley. Has another go at it, but Bannockburn's defence is resolute, and Clifton again kicks across goal and finds Measures. Measures plays onto the right foot, kicks into the middle of the ground. There's a player there on his own, but Follett comes over the back, knocks it away. Tyquin picks up the ball for Inverleigh. Hand passes back to Gerard, but intercepting is Lockie Middleton. He kicks into the forward line, coming out to take a mark outside 50, but just Kieran Fulton. Lovely little pass from him in and finds Juanito Ramos, who marks 45 metres out, almost directly in front.
Well, he had Connor Jervis standing on his own, but you've got to go back and kick it now.
And the 18-year-old will go back and kick from probably about 45 metres directly in front. He's been pretty productive forward from over the last month or so. Definitely a player of the future for the club. So Ramos now gets very close to the man on the mark, but he's given it one hell of a roost, but slightly to the left again. And if he can kick it that far, he's going to have a decent leg on him by the time he gets to his prime. 1 point, the ninth for the afternoon for Bannockburn, 7-9-51, Inverleigh 14-9-93, 25 and a half minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter.
Templeton brings the ball in, goes to Filet, and he takes the mark. So Inverleigh have done the job now. They just need to maintain possession. Little short kick, put Cations under a bit of pressure. Broman went back, couldn't take the mark, picked up there by Jervis. He looks to go long, back towards the goals, and it's going to be marked in the goal square there by Harding. May have even gone through if he had to let it go, but BJ now will do
Well, if
the
he's in the goal square, he's got to straighten him up.
The siren has sounded, so...
Why is he kicking it from there?
I'm not too sure.
It mustn't have been in the goal square.
not in the
It
goal
must have
square.
been just outside it. So he's not allowed to run around the angle now. He's just going to run straight at goal, and that's what he does. And he slides it through for a goal, only just by the sound of the crowd. But he has his second, and that will be the 8th for Bannockburn, which will end the game. So Bannockburn are 8-9-57 and 14-9-93 for the Inverleigh side. So they ran at winners quite easily there. Goal kickers for Inverleigh, 5 to Burke, 2 each to Donahue and Jared Love, 1 to Bowman, Meehan, Grundle, McEwen Walsh and Grozdanovsky. That was Dan. And for the home side, 2 each to Billy Ritchie and BJ Harding, 1 each to Battaglia, Middleton, Fulton and Jervis. So we'll take a short break, come back, wrap up what's happened here this afternoon and get some final scores from around the ground. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Welcome back to Bannockburn Oval. The home side have been defeated 8-9-57 to a very impressive Inverleigh 14-9-93, and their status as premiership favourites has only been enhanced for the day. Before we get to grubbications and go around the grounds, Winchelsea have got themselves out to a more than 100-point lead, and that's a pretty impressive effort, I reckon. They've kicked 20-11, 131, Corio 2-6-18. We don't have a score from Anarchy and Geelong West. Werribee started all guns blazing but eased up a bit. 8-11-59. Bellpost till a 13-7-85. That game's still in progress.
Still in the same amount of shots nearly, though.
Yeah, it is a very good effort there. North Geelong a 3-9-27. East Geelong have kicked 12-8-80. And the close one, we haven't got an absolute time of the last quarter. It's still going. But the Belmont Lions 14-10-94, still in front of Thompson. 14-9-93, and as Grubby said, that will put the cat amongst the pigeons if they can win that one. But let's focus on here for now, Grubby. The great rivalry, two of the better sides in the competition, and although the margin was 36 points, as a spectacle, it was a damn good day at the footy.
Yeah, it was, but it just shows Inverleigh it was a professional outfit. It was very professional.
I got a very professional outfit, Grubby. That's what you're trying to say. Take a drink, mate. Get rid of the coconut out of the throat.
A bit of Pepsi Max to get him through.
And I can tell you, I can know what you're saying because it does tickle the tonsils. Those
Yeah, it does.
coconut balls.
Bloody cold in here, I tell you.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Yeah, very professional. They did what they had to do. I still think there's some improvement in Inverleigh. I think Casey Meehan's a little bit rusty. Hutchie's a little bit rusty, and they've still got 5, 6, 7 weeks to get ready for the big stuff. Who?
Rusty.
Yeah, well, Rusty was great early, but he dropped out of the game a little bit. But Bannockburn tried pretty hard. They played a lot better than they did last week, pretty much for no result. And I know I harped on it during the game, but they had plenty of inside 50. They had enough inside 50s that if they handled it well down there, it could have been a much closer game. But you got to give credit to the Inverleigh defence too. They're one of the better defensive outfits in the competition, led by Jack Filet. And I don't know. I just look at it and say, has Bannockburn got the improvement in them to beat the two sides that have beaten them 2 weeks in a row? And at this stage, I don't think they have. I think they're a bit below that. They'll drop today. I don't know with the other results, but they'll probably drop down a little bit today.
They're talking they could go to 5th if all the results went the way they were thinking.
Well, we're waiting on the Thompson one, but you know, well, you can't win it from 5th. I can tell you that now. So they have got a good run. They can fight their way back. We put this down as a loss anyway when we were talking about how they would fare for the rest of the year, but I'm not sure they've got the ability. I'm not sure they've got the class to be able to beat the top two sides. I think they can beat everybody else on their day, but I'm just not sure they can beat an Inverleigh outfit that were really good today. You make a mistake, they pounce, they kick goals, they put you under pressure. They've got, you could go through their whole side and say most of them played pretty well, whereas Bannockburn, probably a few of them dropped away. Jackie Broman, 150th game. Congratulations, mate. I think he got 24 or 5 possessions, which is not a bad effort in local football. Probably had the ball the second amount than anybody on the ground. But I'm just not sure. Fulton, first game back, was reasonable, so they'll get more out of him, which they need because he's the man, as I said earlier in the game. I think he's one of the most valuable players in the competition, and him up and firing St Albans, does it change it enough? I'm not sure. I just think
the thing is, you rob Peter to play Paul a bit, don't you? You play him in the middle so you can get access out of there.
Yeah.
But then you haven't got him as a marking option in the forward line.
Yeah.
And I think that today, you've already mentioned, that's what let themselves down. The kicks going in, plus their marking options down there. When he wasn't there, when Broman wasn't there, and they left Spiller basically one out, and Joshy Cole, I suppose, he's the other bloke, tall that's actually got to make a difference and take a few marks.
Yeah, and compete well at centre bounces because, let's face it, they could have afforded to play Kieran down forward today because I'm going to give his opponent a vote because I thought he was sensational. But if that's happening, you might as well throw Cole in there, like we said the other week, And Fulton's dangerous there. He's so hard to match up. And most of the time they went in, those ineffectual inside 50s was because they kicked it. There was 2-on-2, 2 6'3" blokes against 2 4'6" blokes. And you just can't do that. As soon as Fulton went down there, he didn't take the first mark, but because they had to battle to get it away from him, they bounced out to Billy Ritchie, who kicked the goal. It gives you small forwards a hell of a lot better chance when you've got a real good mark sitting in the goal square. So that's something that Bannockburn are going to have to work out. I think he could have spent more time down today because it was his first game back as well. But, you know, in the finals, you're going to have the best ruckman. So they've got to find a system to use them. I still just not quite sure if they've got the ability and the class to make up the last 2 defeats they've had. I just don't think they have.
Well, today is a very similar day for me to giving votes as it was at Anarchy and North Geelong. Very difficult. On that day, I couldn't find too many that were good. Today, there's been so many players that have drifted through my mind to give votes. I'm going to have to apologise to quite a few. But if you like, I'll start. I'm going to give 1 vote to Matt Tyquin for Inverleigh, who was superb in the middle of the ground. I'm going to give 2 votes to Clifton from Bannockburn, who was superb, and I think his kicking would have been at 100% all day. And kicking 5 goals and having a direct hand in 3 others, that's 8 out of 14. I reckon Paddy Burke was the best player on the ground today.
Do you want me to go next?
Go on then.
I've given 1 vote to Lockie Middleton. I thought he's
apologies to him. He was excellent.
in and around the middle of the ground.
I would have too if he had a kick in the first half.
Yeah,
his second half was magnificent.
Yeah, his bullocking work. I think he's pretty important to the way Bannockburn can and will structure up come finals time, providing they make them.
I'd give him 4 quarters, not 2.
2 votes to Paddy Burke for his 5 goals. I thought it was a pretty good performance when you look at the rest of the guys around the ground. You get him with 5, and as I said, a couple of assists. But I thought Matty Tyquin was probably the best player on the ground today, and got a number of possessions. I still like the way, and I've always said it, the way this guy can get himself to a contest where he gets tackled, he stays up in the contest, he gets himself out, and then is able to still use the ball. So I thought it was a good game from Matty Tyquin. I wouldn't know his possessions, but I reckon one bloke will know how many he's had.
He's probably had 35 plus, I would have thought.
No, he hasn't. I gave 1 vote to Wilson. He beat both those big Bannockburn blokes all day. I thought he was magnificent. I gave 2 votes to Paddy Burke, who probably his contribution was as much as anybody in front of goal. And with 32 possessions, I gave I gave Matty Tyquin best on the ground. I thought he was easily best on the ground from start to finish, with apologies to Jackie, who did get 24 or 5 possessions, which is a great effort. But I just don't think he did as much with his possessions today as he normally does. Apologies to Clifton. There's a whole heap of apologies that I got put down here with 4 ticks. Paddy Burke was, Luke Wilson, Finn O'Keefe had 3 ticks from me. I thought he was pretty good. There was a couple of Bannockburn blokes who got the
Jared
ticks.
Love got going.
Jared,
I thought Ryan Robinson played a good game as well today.
I had 3 quarters for Daniel Ladgrove.
Yes,
he was good.
Yeah.
He dropped away in that last quarter a bit. Roman. I had
Measures
3 quarters for Daniel Measures. I had 4 quarters for Lewis Clifton, who's stiff to miss out, but there were so many good players from the winning side.
Jervis was very good
that I
too
couldn't
for
put him in. What?
Jervis was very good for Bannockburn too.
What was his sister playing netball? He had 4 kicks for the day.
Jared Love was good. Wilson good. Mentioned Burke. Who else? Filets and Gerard were both solid down back. O'Keefe, there was lots of really good players. A great game to watch. Now, got some finals around the ground. Winchell C 2011 131 defeated Corio 2-6-18. It's not final yet, but Bellpost Hill, as I said, 16-9, 105. Werribee Central's 8-12, 60. North Geelong 3-11-29, but East Geelong kicked 15-11, 101. We mentioned here Bannockburn 8-9, 57. Inverleigh 14-9. And I can report final scores. Belmont Lions 14-10, 94. Thompson 14-10, 93. The upset happened. Final score. So that means that Bannockburn will slip to 3rd position on the ladder because Thompson haven't been able to get a win to get above them. and they'll drop back to 6th, and Belpost Hill's win will put them in 5th position. So we have got a very open competition, and it is such a good comp for that reason.
Actually, hang on. What did Bannockburn slip to?
They'll drop to 4th, I reckon, because West should beat Anarchy and go to 3rd.
Yeah, that's. I thought you said they slipped to 3rd. And I'm thinking, hang on, they were already worth 3rd. So looking at that, Inverleigh go to 44.
Yep.
East go to 40. Bannockburn stay on 32. West go to 36.
Yep.
Thompson stay on 32. And Belpost Hill go to 32 with a better percentage.
Yep.
So Thompson drop out, which I don't know matters that much because round 14 they play each other.
Yeah.
So
that'll be the one.
So, if they can come back and beat them, they'll go back into that position.
But then who have they got after that?
Well, they both got three losses.
Yeah.
I reckon they both got 3 losses to come.
Because I know Thompson come out here and play Bannockburn.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see where that all sits from there. So,
and then the other thing that Belmont have caused that upset, and we know that Winch is on the improve. They've got West next week.
Thompson got Inverleigh last game too.
Yeah. Winchelsea got Thompson, although they got a shocking record at Thompson, even when they were going okay. They then host Bannockburn at North Geelong, and in the last game of the year, Winch play Werribee. So they've got a couple of games that they could influence. Belmont, if they get a side like Belpost Hill or Geelong West not quite right, those little upsets could cause a lot of problems, because at the moment we're just presuming that wins will be wins, but that's not always the case.
Their Belmont game is at home at Belpost Hill, not at Belmont Lions. But look, Thompson have got like Anarchy and Belpost Hill, and then Winch, and they finish up with East, Banno and Inverleigh. Right, but Belpost Hill have got Belmont, Thompson, East, Inverleigh. So
they get it before the other one.
Yeah. So it might be a case of, percentage-wise, I think Belpost Hill are ahead, right? So it might be a case of Thompson have to beat Belpost Hill, and that is at Belpost Hill. They've already flogged them once, haven't they? We saw that first game of the year, but things are totally different at the moment. So they'll play Belpost Hill at Belpost Hill. So after today's game, I had Thompson in 5th position, just on Belpost Hill. Now I've got them the other way.
Have to go the other way.
Now I've got them the other way. It might even end up Thompson or Belpost Hill to take, as I said earlier, take one of those bigger scalps. If they can do that, they're home. So it's fantastic. The top 3, that's great too, The top 3 battle's going to be fantastic too. I think Inverleigh and East on top, but then you got West and Bannockburn fighting out the double chance. And Bannockburn haven't got a bad draw either, so there's plenty to play for. It's going to be tight.
Later here.
Yeah, and I'm just I still can't grasp a side winning the flag from outside the top 3 without a double chance. I just,
not with the quality at the top.
No, I just can't see that happening.
Bannockburn's the only side that can do that. If they finish 4th, I'd still reckon they're a chance, but I don't know that Geelong West, Thompson or Belpost Hill can finish from there.
No.
Now, you probably already worked it out, gentlemen, because I know you're in cahoots most of the time during the week. Where are we going next week? Because there's a couple of... It's the oddest round for a while. There's a lot of... all the top sides play pretty much
It's a shocking round.
But there's a couple of middle-of-the-road games that might be appealing. One is to go to Geelong West, who host Winchelsea.
I think yes.
And we've seen the Belmont Lions cause an upset today. They go to Belpost Hill. The possibility of them doing that again. Either one of those 2 games probably looks like the one.
Well, I wouldn't mind going...
We haven't seen much of Winch.
No, I think it would have been good to see Belpost Hill and Belmont if it was at Belmont. You're probably the smallest ground in the league that Belmont play on. Then they've got to adapt to the biggest. So I think Western Winch.
Yep.
That's what I think. That's up to you blokes.
Well, we probably need to see more of Western. We haven't seen much of Winch for the year. It'd be nice to see how much they've improved from that Corio game.
Yeah, you haven't seen much of Werribee either. We'll go and watch them again, you mongrel.
Well, we could do that.
No.
They play East Geelong.
No, not in your life. I reckon Winch and Western Winch.
Okay, gentlemen, you've got to marshal the old Church Road, Geelong West. You've conquered that mountain before. So you should be able to handle all that all right. So if we're all
in the right gate this time, you goose.
Oh, dear me. Okay, so for those who are interested, I've just got one report back from the netball today.
Yeah, there'll be plenty interested in that. Thank you very much, Rob. Whenever you're ready, mate.
And I can't see the score, but I think Corio might have come second against Winchelsea. No, maybe they didn't. Maybe they've had a win. It's a funny game, netball.
Oh,
all right.
Funny, that's not the word I would use, but but the word I would use is not allowed on the station. So,
dear. The score here today: 57 to Bannockburn, 93 to Inverleigh. The Mighty Hawks will retain premiership favouritism. We'll be at Geelong West next week. The Giants take on the Winchelsea Blues.
one more thing.
Big win today against Corio.
A special cheerio to the big, tough Gilesy, who didn't come today because it was too cold. You old woman.
Really? Too cold.
Too cold for Gilesy. Your daughter dobbed you in.
Winchelsea did win that game 36 to 31 over Corio in the netball. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening in today. This has been 94.7 The Pulse's coverage of Geelong and District Football League footy. Robert Eagles, thank you so much for the work you do back in the studio, giving up your Saturday for us, and the team here from Music Workshop for the job they do looking after us. This is 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Thanks, Rob.